into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
I like the way you get into your rhythm, Graham.
Just got to get on board, man.
It's like
the G train.
It's like an old school shuffling type of vibe.
The G train.
The G train.
Just got to get on board.
That's a way to get up in the morning. Welcome to the show today. Wow.
Welcome to you, buddy.
Welcome to you.
No.
We could do this for hours.
We could do it all day. And welcome to you guys at home. Thank you so much for joining us. Obviously a crazy couple of days here in the mother city. So we're going to start off by saying a massive, most heartfelt thank you to each and every firefighter and volunteer who were able to get the fires on Table Mountain and of course in the surrounding areas under control as of yesterday.
Yeah.
Not quite out of the woods yet, but they are superstars.
Thank you. Thank you.
Crazy. I know the damage has been done in so many areas, but an unbelievable effort.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Thank you so much for all of your efforts. We'll be catching up with somebody from Working on Fire a little bit later to give you some more details. And of course, we got a musical guest in studio. We got Zoe Zana and Twin Spin entertaining you. So make sure that you move the coffee table already for an amazing show as we get onto some social media. We'd like your response to something very, very important. So while we're on the G train, here's Jamie Lee on the Jamie Lee train.
I feel like somehow I also need to start with a shimmy this morning. A very good morning to you, South Africa. My name is Jamie Domag, reporting live for duty on this Tuesday here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Yes, it is all about Health Tuesday today. It is winter season. It is winter season, and with winter comes flu. Of course, it is around the corner. And we want to find out by you on social media today, what is your top tip for beating flu this winter season? How are you going to get over the sluggish feeling of the flu? As you know, yesterday I was not feeling well. This entire weekend I was not feeling well. Myself and my little one just had a bit of the flu indeed. So it was all about just getting in the ginger, getting in the garlic, the vitamin C, making sure that we are hydrated. But maybe you have a top tip for us this morning. And of course, Dr. Emil Reeders will also be here in studio to be answering all your questions with regards to the flu season, also about COVID vaccine. So you do want to connect with us, Expresso Morning Show, SABC3, and use that hashtag Expresso Show. It's going to be a beautiful Tuesday, so stick around with us for the next 3 hours. But right now, here is Carl Wasty with his news headlines.
I'll actually step in for this one. First up to bring you an update on the fires here in Cape Town. We start with our national news. The Cape Town Heritage Trust says it is shocked by the fire damage in the vicinity of UCT and the Rhodes Memorial. The historic tea room adjacent to the memorial burnt down, as well as Mostert's Mill, which was erected in 1796. Then at UCT, the Jagger Library was destroyed, and it housed several unique collections of international value. In Fuller Residence, several works of art were destroyed. Spokesperson for the trust, Laura Robinson, said donations for repairs to the buildings can be made to the Cape Town Heritage Foundation. Meanwhile, a 35-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the inferno on Table Mountain, which caused extensive damage at UCT and forced evacuations in Vredehuk. The police say the man was apprehended in Phillips Hossana Drive on Sunday night, close to where the blaze broke out. 2 other suspects have thus far evaded arrest. This after the local neighborhood watch allegedly spotted 3 men making a fire on the slopes of Table Mountain and alerted law enforcement authorities. Police say the suspect is due in court soon. A little further afield, authorities in Nigeria's Katsina state say dogs and prayer sessions will be part of a new security setup to protect learners at schools from criminals. Schools in northern Nigeria have come under increased attacks from armed criminals who have abducted hundreds of learners since December. In addition to a perimeter fence, 5 guards and a security post, dogs will also be deployed at public boarding schools. There will also be at least 3 daily prayer sessions at all these schools in the predominantly Muslim state. Then India's capital, Delhi, has announced a week-long lockdown after a record spike in COVID-19 cases has overwhelmed the city's healthcare system. Government offices and essential services such as hospitals, pharmacies and grocers will be open during the lockdown, which started last night. The city reported 24,462 cases on Sunday, its highest single-day spike so far. Delhi Chief Minister said the city had almost run out of beds at hospital intensive care units and oxygen was in short supply. India has been reeling from a deadly second wave since the start of April. And now finally a story from the Northwest Province, sure to tug at your heartstrings. Uncle Solly Mokoena started working at Potchefstroom High School for Boys at the tender age of 19 and recently retired after, as he put it, 46 golden years of service. Well, Uncle Solly describes Potch Boys as his second home, a place where he made many wonderful memories, and one of his tasks was transporting the boys to various sports tournaments. Jokingly, he said, "I was grateful for this task because I got to see the world." And the boys regarded him as a father, and he reprimanded them, he helped them when they needed it, he built relationships with them. And upon hearing that Uncle Solly's dedicated service had been acknowledged with just a small farewell function, old boys of the school started the Get Solly a Bakkie initiative. And former students and educators and others associated with the school donated to the cause and soon gifted him with a truck worth some 150,000 rand. The old boys also thanked him on behalf of everyone he had served so loyally. He is currently a subsistence farmer near Rustenburg, and the truck, as you can imagine, comes in very handy. So we wish Uncle Solly well on his new lease on life. And that's where we leave the news headlines for now. Let's get into the sport. Some explosive cricket on offer yesterday as the Chennai Super Kings registered a 45-run victory over the Rajasthan Royals at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai in the Indian Premier League. CSK posting 188 for 9 in their 20 overs, with South Africa's Faf du Plessis top scoring with 33 of just 17 deliveries. That included 4 fours and 2 sixes. And after chasing a challenging 189 for victory, Rajasthan finished on 143 for 9 to hand CSK the win. And the Delhi Capitals will now face the defending IPL champions, the Mumbai Indians, at 4 p.m. today. And big news in the world of football breaking yesterday. Jose Mourinho has been sacked as Tottenham Hotspur manager after just 17 months in charge of the club. The self-proclaimed special one replaced former coach Mauricio Pochettino as Spurs' manager in November of 2019. Mourinho guided the club to 6th in the English Premier League standings last season, and he now leaves Spurs in 7th on the table, 5 points adrift of a Champions League place. Then on to more footballing news, and while there's still speculation swirling, it seems that 12 European football heavyweights have agreed to establish a new competition, the Super League. So English Premier League clubs Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham are among the 12 clubs who have agreed to join the new league. Spanish giants Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, along with Italian football giants Juventus, Inter Milan and AC Milan, will also be said to be participating in the competition. The founding clubs will continue to compete in their respective national leagues whilst taking part in the new midweek competition. But we will watch that space closely. Then on to the football that did actually happen on the field. Reigning champions Liverpool, must be said, squandered the chance to move into the top 4 of the Premier League standings after recording a 1-1 draw at Leeds United. Sadio Mane opened the scoring for the Reds in the 31st minute as they looked set to record a win, but the Whites equalised in the dying moments of the match. It was an 87th minute header from the centre of the box by Diego Llorente that helped Leeds draw at home. There'll be one Premier League fixture tonight as a high-riding Chelsea, they welcome Brighton to Stamford Bridge, that one kicking off at 9 p.m. We'll touch on those headlines again in about an hour or so. Right now, Mr. Wasty is standing by to take a look at some of your beautiful skies and give you the lowdown on today's weather.
Thanks a lot, G. And let's do that indeed, featuring the stunning images of our viewers that have been captured by you. We're looking at these sunrise photos in their area, and this has become one highlight of our morning. So let's get into it today. So to start us off with this morning, we head to Gqeberha, where Estelle Maritz shared this overcast morning view with us. Today, you can expect temperatures to peak at a mild 22 degrees Celsius. And Madeleine Nicholson, thanks for yours. She shared this gorgeous golden glow cast by the sun over the landscape of her area. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Please do continue continue to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page. And don't forget to share your location with us too, so we can give you a brief temperature update of your area too. Now, while we love interacting with our local viewers, we also have to give a shout out to the international viewers that tune in via the Africa channel as well as YouTube. This morning we give a brief update on the weather forecast for New Orleans, located in the state of Louisiana. New Orleans is world-renowned for its distinct music, Creole cuisine, unique dialects, and its annual celebrations and festivals, most notably Mardi Gras. The historic heart of the city is the French Quarter, known for its French and Spanish Creole architecture and vibrant nightlife along Bourbon Street. Today, if you are in New Orleans, expect a pleasant, partly cloudy day, reaching a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius. Let's go to things further abroad, and I mean outer space. We've been following America's Mars venture of late with great interest, and here's the latest news. The drone Ingenuity has been airborne for less than a minute, but NASA is celebrating what represents the first powered controlled flight by an aircraft on another world. Indeed, a matter of one small flight for mankind, Ingenuity will be commanded to fly higher and further as engineers seek to test the limits of technology. Mimi Awing, project manager of Ingenuity at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, said they can now say that human beings have flown a rotorcraft on another planet. Getting airborne on the red planet is not easy. The atmosphere is very thin, just 1% of the density here on Earth. This gives the blades on a rotorcraft very little to bite into to gain lift. Ingenuity was therefore made extremely light and given the power to turn its blades extremely fast at over 2,500 revolutions per minute. That's a wrap with that weather details for you. Let's take a look at those temperatures, and it looks like moderate and even some precipitation across the country today. I'm going to start in Polokwane, a low of 10, and that goes to a high of 23 degrees Celsius. Bombela, you can expect 15 this morning, and that is to 24. Moving across to you, Pretoria, 12 to 24. Johannesburg, you can expect 10 this morning, and that is from a low of 22 degrees Celsius. And then, of course, Mahikeng, 26 is the maximum, and that comes from a low of 10. Klerksdorp, 11 to 27. Kimberley, 12 to 27 today. Bloemfontein, 8 to 25. Richards Bay, 80% chance of thunder showers for you. 23 degrees Celsius is the maximum. Pietermaritzburg, 12 to 20 for you. Thunder showers, 51% in the area. Durban, 18 to 23. Mthatha, 11 to 17. Chances of rain at 66%. 65% in East London. 16 to 20 the temperatures. Cradock, 11 to 24. 52% chance of precipitation. Gqeberha, 15 to 22. George, 14 to 21. Cape Town, 13 to 24. Worcester, a little higher today. 30 is the maximum from a low of 12. Sutherland, 10 to 24. And after all those moderate temperatures, Upington bucking the trend once again. That is 16 the low this morning to a high of 32 degrees Celsius. That wraps up the temperatures for now. Please keep on sending your sunrise photos, and the place to go is the Expresso Facebook page. And do let me know exactly where you are so we can showcase it in our weather segments right here on Expresso.
Good morning, everyone. Now, I've decided to brighten up the Presenters Tuesday by giving them each a fragrance to enhance and celebrate their personalities. Now, Jamie, over the past year, I feel like you have come into your own, friend. Like, I feel like your voice and everything in your fitness journey, you've just done so much. So in my mind, I was like, what do I choose? I've got 3 options here. Okay.
Firstly, it smells amazing in here. I just want to let you guys know this smells beautiful in here.
Yes.
What do you have for me?
So I wanted to play with something that's playful, something that really celebrates your unique voice, because that's what you've given us. I think you've inspired all of us to get in there and just step into our voice. So it's a tough one. Either I can go with a Drop D Issy by Issy Miyake, which I know is a favorite.
I'm an Issy girl. I'm an Issy girl by heart.
Perfect. And then we've got the Nakiso, which is really beautiful. I love the packaging here, but there's something I love that is a perfect and playful signature smell. And I feel like the name is fitting. It's the Perfect by Marc Jacobs, which I really want you to try.
Honey.
So this is a really like floral, really playful kind of smell. But I have a tip for you, just, you know, because when we put on our fragrances, we tend to do it wrong. So I want you to take a bit of this petroleum jelly.
Say what? And do what?
Before you
What is happening?
Put it on your pulse right there.
Yeah.
Okay, and then a little bit there, just maybe dab. That you can do. Okay, cool. So now we've got petroleum jelly there. Now I want you to spray it. So essentially what the essential oils they do...
And I'm not dabbing it.
Do not dab, you see. So if you keep it over there and just float in it, you smell great and it will stay longer. So that's a nice tip to have.
This is life. I am smelling so amazing. Not Smarty, thank you so much. I should come to work more often because I'm getting gifted.
Yes, I'm in the mood. I'm like in the season of giving, so definitely.
Okay, Oprah, we love this. absolutely, this is a fragrance. It just has everything that you need. Now, of course, you can buy it at Woolworths. You can do this in selected stores. You can do it online or on the Woolworths app. And I think I'm just going to go in a little bit more because why not? Yay, Mom!
If your sunrise snaps are prize winners, give it your best shot on Expresso and yours could win you one of those oh-so-chic Nespresso travel mugs each week for 5 weeks. So snap your best sunrise and post it to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook page with the hashtag Nespresso Sunrise. Winners are announced Mondays on the show and competition closes the 21st of April. So let's be seeing those morning masterpieces.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso here on S3. Now, self-care. That's more than just pampering yourself. It's also about meeting your own needs, be that relaxation, a need for connection, or even creativity. So professional dancer and TikTok mogul Justin Nobrega shows us how he puts his self-care first through his passion. Take a look.
Coming to you from the seaside hideaway of Milk Boss, this young man is making his own horizons.
Hi, my name is Justin Nobrega. I'm 20 years old. I'm a professional dancer and also a social media influencer. So the first thing I like to do is wake up and have a good cup of coffee to start my day. What I like to do after my cup of coffee is make a quick and easy smoothie before I hit the gym. That's good. What I like mostly about my morning workout is that it kind of gets the blood flowing and the oxygen to the brain, and therefore making me feel more positive and confident throughout my day. And then after the gym, probably going for a shower, and of course using the new Big Flex tube for a nice clean and smooth shave. As a social media influencer and a performing artist, it's always important for me to look good and to feel my freshest. In that case, the new Big Flex 2 always comes in handy for me. This allows the closer shave, leaving my skin feeling silky smooth. Because I'm a professional dancer, I felt it was always important to obviously include that in my content creation. I like to create content because I want to make people laugh, I want to make people feel good, feel confident. So the first thing that I do when I want to make a TikTok, I'd usually try and find a song, and as I'm listening to each song, I'll kind of think of ideas and what I can do to it. I'll maybe do a bit of choreography to the song, and if I'm maybe gonna film it outside or inside, then picking what I'm gonna wear. Dancing is a big passion of mine because it gets my mind off of things and is a good reliever during a stressful day. My best TikTok video or highlight of my TikToks would definitely be the Zol dance. I created a dance and everyone kind of hopped onto it. So yeah, the Zol song by Max Harrell, definitely, that was my best TikTok.
Don't shake and pass the virus. Don't shake them. Don't shake and pass the virus. Don't shake them. Don't shake them. Don't shake them. Don't shake and pass the virus.
As a social media influencer and a performing artist, I feel like it is important for me to feel good and to look fresh. You know, the best way for me to relax after a busy day would definitely be to chill with my girlfriend, or maybe watch a movie or some series.
How cool is that? That's proper self-care when you take whatever your passion that you have in your life and that is part of your self-care routine. I think that's absolutely sensational. For me, I just love the t-shirts in there. There were a variety of t-shirts sold out and others. But Justin de Nobrega, thanks a lot for sharing your journey and of course giving us that close shave and that good feeling in the morning. We'll continue following you. And of course, thanks a lot for showing a little piece of your self-care as we get into some more self-care right here on Expresso.
2 flexible blades for a smoother shave. Open blade architecture for an easy rinse. Choose Big Flex 2 for a closer, smoother shave.
Now, self-care to me is the perfect match in fragrance. Now, Graham to me is the definition of a metro man, always looking on point, stylish, and you could actually be an Italian god. Is there something in the heritage there?
Maybe.
So I just thought, with the mysterious side, I think the Dolce & Gabbana Luminous Night is actually the perfect match for you. So if you look at the packaging here, G, it's like, just if you look at it,
it's beautiful, man.
It's absolutely stunning. So what I love about this, it's got a really spicy oriental element to it. So speaking to that Italian god, and what I love is that it's great for like the evening and really great. So now I see you starting on your wrists. I'm going to teach you something today.
Okay, teach me.
Put it on your clothes rather, because that way it lasts a lot longer. It'll move with your day. But how lovely
it's intense, that's lovely. That's very nice. It's masculine.
Yes.
It's a strong fragrance, but it's got like lingering notes that take you somewhere else. It's mysterious.
Exactly, it's very mysterious.
It sounds strange to say, but
I love that, you know, because obviously we know fragrance works differently on your skin and your clothes. So if you really want to keep the smell to its core, put it on your clothes. But if you want it to mix with your kind of own pheromones, then on the skin is the way to go.
It is quite spicy as well. It's got a nice spicy afternote, but I like it. It's very masculine.
Yes.
It's cool, man. I like it.
It's messy, of course.
Thank you,
I'm
Han.
just gifting today.
I feel like you know the inner me. She knows the real me. Well, you can be the star in the sky. We know you are. You can buy this fragrance and a whole range of beautiful fragrances at Woolworths, at selected stores, online, or of course with their amazing app.
Oh, you can make my day.
Welcome back. Time to get to know today's superstar performers. We've just been treated to a little sound check. And I'm in my field. I'm ready, man. Now, she's garnered national attention in 2013 when she reached the top 4 in a very well-known singing competition TV show. And these twins have been spinning the decks together since 2010. They are singer Zoe Zana and DJ/producer duo and Good Hope FM personality Twins Spin. And they have been releasing incredible dance music throughout lockdown as well. I think they've saved a lot of us over this period. They are joining Expresso as our performers for the day. Please give them a huge warm resounding welcome. You can applaud for yourselves.
You can.
Shad,
I'm
Jade,
trying to
Shad.
figure out. I'm still like, okay, so you are Shad, Zoe, we love you, and then Jade.
Zoe, are they telling us the truth? Is that Shad, is that Jade, or have they swapped just to mess with us?
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let them just do what they're trying to do here. They are trying to prank you. I'm gonna let them do that.
Do you even know sometimes? Because I would get super confused. They were like, the hair tells the difference. It doesn't.
In the begining, I was confused, but now I know for sure. It's
Because Shad's the funny one.
He's actually the funny one.
No comment.
It's so good
Guys,
to be able to
welcome.
connect with you guys this morning. Zoe, I'll start off with you. I mean, we've seen you obviously rise to fame with the amazing TV show that you've been on. You've gone through really a journey of discovering yourself as a solo artist. We've seen you last in lockdown as well, just traveling Morocco and doing all these amazing things. What has that been like, you know, over the coming from that TV show and now just finding your own voice in this space?
It's been absolutely amazing. I think it's been worth it, mainly, especially the lockdown period for me. It really helped me discover and find what the next steps are. And I think that time on my own brought me to these absolutely amazing 2 talents sitting next to me. And yeah, so it was definitely worth it. It was extremely amazing. It was fun. I learned a lot. I grew a lot as a person, as a musician, as a writer specifically and specially. And yeah, I think it was absolutely amazing. Just the growth itself was great.
Yeah, I think a lot of artists have spoken about the opportunity to kind of take a step back and really consider what they want out of their career, get creative, release amazing new music. Just saying, like...
Matching.
I'm just saying, okay? You know, if you need
In fact, all of us are matching.
You've obviously chosen a lane for yourself, and the fact that you're collaborating with these gents in this particular style, your vocals really do lend itself to this kind of music. But
Thank you.
why is it so important for you to collaborate with artists like this, and why this choice in direction?
Okay, that's a good question. I think where the industry is going at the moment, especially in South Africa, and I think Johannesburg more so, but in Cape Town, I think people's really latching on to the amapiano, dancey type of, and I think it also comes from the fact that we are now finally embracing and just accepting and enjoying what we do as South Africans. So instead of me being able to reach those notes and being able to sing the soulful music that all of these amazing US artists can do and etc., I feel like why not bring what I'm able to do and what I've learned from those type of artists and talents and bring it to the South African sound. So it really does. I'm able to invest in what South Africa is becoming in terms of music, where we're going with our own sound. And I felt like it was necessary for me to put my stamp on that, you know what I mean, and also be a part of the movement and part of where South Africa is going in terms of music.
I love that.
Twin Spin, I mean, you guys have also been just on the scene, really just entertaining us on Good Up FM and just taking over. But I'll ask you maybe, what is it like to be with such a powerhouse, being with such a soulful singer and being able to produce with her and just taking South Africa by storm?
It's really amazing working with Zoe. I mean, we don't know each other for a very long time, but the work that we've been doing, we pushed her in different directions. Where we made a house track, we made now a piano track, and now we're even busy with like a deep house thing. We even pushed Zoe with Take Me to My Love. It was actually funny with the song that we're going to perform later, that we were all feeling the same thing, you know, like it's this relationship thing we're going through and all this stuff. And just the words Zoe like could sing on the song and the vibe and everything, it's just, we work perfectly with Zoe. It's just like no other artists and those kind of stuff will have an understanding, I think, that we do with Zoe. I mean, she's professional sometimes.
Not in the studio. We figured it out.
Like Expresso needs to see Zoe in the studio.
No, please, no.
But we're working with our one friend as well, Amber Smalls, and those kind of stuff. So we're all connecting with Zoe. We're feeling on her energy, and she's feeling on us, and we're just blending it quite perfectly together. We have a surprise. We have a surprise for him later.
Yeah.
So we're taking little Zoe Zana out the box.
Low Zoe Zana. Okay.
I love that, man. Shad, you mentioned obviously Take Me to My Love.
Yeah.
Ryan James involved in that track as well. I'm really interested to know, with a collaborative process, everything you're doing is a collaboration. With the two of you working, where does the one begin and the other end? How do you guys work through the creative process? Do you have clearly defined roles? Do you just kind of get in there and see what happens?
There's no roles that no one has. Everyone knows if I know I can take on this job, they do it. They do that part of it. But working with so much people that are creative, it's all about the art. It's all about ideas coming together. I have this idea, let's put this to picture and everything. Like, we planned the whole video before it even happened. We said we feel like this is the mood for the song. These are the actors we want to use. These are the type of shots we want to do. And this is a videographer we want to use. So all of the creativity just came together in one night. I won't even lie to you. It planned up. We're all sitting together. I'm like, Zoe, we have this idea. Let's get the videographer. Let's get this guy will fit perfectly to make the whole act out and everything like that.
It's just meant to be.
Yeah, like there's so much creative people that you don't realize they're good at something, but if you allow them to actually do it, you're amazed by their work.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe, man. Well, we can't wait to see you guys do what you do. And I would imagine reaching a point in your career where people want to collaborate with you makes life a lot easier. And I think you guys are going to really
we're still young. We're ready for the future. It's our time. We feel like it's now. And I mean, it's a learning process. We're all going through learning, you know what I mean? So even waking up this early to do a show is something.
What a lesson.
Part of the learning curve.
We need to do these type of stuff, you know?
Oh, man. Well, the melodic experience presented by the incredible Zola Productions taking place this Sunday, the 25th of April. Tickets are going for just $70. Come on, guys. You can make it more than that. And they're available at the door of the venue, which is the 38 Eatery at the Granddaddy Hotel in Cape Town. Make sure you get on board.
So here we go. You know, we had Zoe and Twin Spin, and they'll be doing a performance a little bit later, but I think the jealousy that I had when I heard that Graham and Jamie Lee got fragrances, I ran straight to our beauty room and I said, "No, Carlo, I'm asking you nicely. I would like a fragrance."
Well, Carl, I've got you.
Thank you.
I've got you. I will never leave you hanging. So
Okay.
what I do know is that you're a Gemini,
Yes, well done.
that you're a footballer,
Yes, I am.
and that you are a home chef.
I tried to be.
And so you've got a little bit of everything, which I really, really love.
Thank you.
And so I think the perfect fragrance for you would be the Zadok and Voltaire, which is This Is Us.
Yes.
Now, this is really great because it's fun, it's flirty, but it's also like very much a modern smell for someone on the move. And I feel like someone like you would be perfect for this.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Can I give it a little smell?
Now, give it a smell.
Okay, so what's the best way to smell a fragrance? Because I know people do this.
Yes. So it's actually to spritz it, like in its...
Spritz.
Yeah, so spritz it out there.
Spritzing.
And smelling, walk into it. Now you're ready. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. You know what? What I like about it, there's actually quite an element of it. It smells like it could be unisex as well.
Absolutely, which is really fun about it. And I mean, most fragrances also respond to your body and temperature. So
Yes.
if, let's say, I think you were mentioning earlier that you're much like warmer and just in terms of the heat you radiate.
Thank you. Ooh.
So
Hello.
this would smell probably different to how it smells to me, just because our pheromones work very differently with it. So I also want to tell you that after a shower is the best time to put on a fragrance.
All right.
So that the way you spritz there, after a shower, step into that fragrance, it'll last the whole day.
And as you said to me a little earlier, less is more, is that correct?
Less is more. So please don't choke us. But I definitely think just a spritz a now and then, and you will be that guy when people walk past, they're like, who's that?
This is great though. And I can grab this online or on the app, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Woolworths.
Shop that at Woolies and you'll just turn heads.
Of course, and available at some selected stores. I'm going to do this and walk it through. Thank you, Nok.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Love it.
I know, it just smells so amazing. Listen, while Carl is enjoying the warm and spicy scent of his fragrance over there, I see you, boo. We are delving into the velvety and also the rich woody notes that make up Nespresso's master origins, Indonesia, this morning.
Yeah, and it's got quite a unique process behind how they make it, but the woodiness really does come through.
Does.
Eh? It's amazing. The fragrance of this is crazy. So here's a fun fact for your hashtag Travel Tuesday. Did you know that coffee has been cultivated in Indonesia from the late 1600s and early 1700s in a very unique way, and played an important role in the growth of the entire country? So today we get a taste of this Indonesian export. So let me give you a little bit of background onto the incredible coffee making process that goes into creating this brew. In Indonesia, Nespresso AAA farmers use what's called wet hulling, which means the coffee beans are hulled when they have almost 4 times more moisture than the usual process, and there's a reason behind it. The beans are then split roasted, which is the process of roasting 2 batches of the same coffee origin separately with a medium and a slightly shorter roast. And although more difficult to carry out, this technique really does offer incomparable results, as you can taste in the coffee, and it gives it a balanced, rich, a woody flavor and aroma, and that's, you really can tell it. It's the woodiness really does come
While you
through.
were talking, I was literally like,
I know, the whole morning I've been sitting
everything.
smelling my coffee. It's crazy. So mildly intense. It kind of sits at the middle of the table in intensity 8. So it's a nice strong flavor, but it's very well balanced. And just something worth taking, when we talk about the flavor intensity, that it's not the amount of caffeine. The caffeine content is always there because it's coffee, but this gives you a sense of the kind of the bitterness, the strength of the roast, you know, and the perception of that coffee. Some people like it stronger, some people like it, you know, with a more balanced, softer profile.
But yes, it also hits you right in the nose as well, so it almost captivates you. The moment you smell it, you just taste it on your palate. Definitely have beautiful aromas, the woodiness coming through. It is the perfect cup of coffee for this Tuesday. So
yeah, I love it, man. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
With every cup, we cultivate some of the finest coffee in the world, celebrating farmers as artists, elevating every coffee moment, because with every cup, precious coffee preserves the beauty of our world. Nespresso, what else?
Just getting into the groove this morning. I told you, get on the G train this morning. Oh, the grooves that are coming your way. You want to stay tuned for our performance this morning. But right now, let's get into some tech news. And we love exciting news in the world of technology. And I'm so pleased about Nedbank enabling Apple Pay. For those who are unfamiliar, Apple Pay allows you to basically load your bank cards directly to your Apple device, like your phone or even your watch, and then make payments using the device. So you can literally leave the house without cash, without your wallet, without your bag, without your card. Just tap your phone.
Now, if you're wondering exactly how to access your card on your device or how it all works, it's super easy and quick. We have asked Mike from the social media team to show us exactly how. I feel he just makes us feel more confident about these things because he's a tech guy. He's a tech guy.
No, but we trust you a lot. We do.
Sometimes.
No, we do.
No, we do.
You take all the photos, all the ridiculous photos of me with my ridiculous face. He's the guy who brings those to you. No, we do trust you because you're a step ahead of most of us when it comes to the world of tech, and you certainly are in this case. And you've been putting this to the test, just like your fashion sense with your socks.
Putting it to the test.
Putting it to the test.
I have been.
The socks. What are actually on your socks, dude?
Ice creams.
Ice creams.
Ice creams.
Nice.
Because I bought some ice creams this weekend with Apple Pay, so I thought I'd do it.
I see. You're ready for me. You're ready for me. Okay, so let's say we're at the shops. We want to use Apple Pay. Talk us through the process.
So I'll pretend like I'm at the shops. So I'll put it in my pocket.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Right.
What can I get you?
So I get to the front of the line. I simply take my phone out the pocket, double-click the side,
Is there a picture of...
and I'm ready to pay.
What? Is that it?
Like that.
What?
Except your pants would have been quite tight, so it would
They
have
would have
taken a
been.
while to get
They would have
out,
been.
and then your little shorts would have been quite tight.
Exactly.
It would have taken a while to
I've taken my lip gloss out of this pocket to make space in this one. But if I can show that on camera again...
That's unbelievably quick.
I'm still trying to process it. You're already trying to pay. Hold up, let's go back because my brain is trying to process it.
So what it does, it makes it as easy as possible. You just have to activate it by double tapping the side. That's it. You don't have to open your phone. You don't have to do anything. Once it's open, then if you've got facial recognition, it checks the face. If you've got a passcode, if you've got thumbprint, it does that. So there, double tap, Apple Pay pops up, and then you can see Face ID. It checks my face, ready to pay.
Wow.
And you simply just tap like a card.
So no more excuses that you forgot your bank card at home. If you're on a date, you can literally now pay for everyone. So this weekend, you're taking us all for ice creams, right, Mike?
Nice.
You and without Graham.
Oh.
That's fine.
Oh, come on.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Graham.
I tried.
Sorry.
No, love your socks, though.
Thanks.
I love your socks.
Love you guys.
Love you, man. If you want to see pictures of Mike in his Speedo, you can go onto his social media platform. But we are loving the fact that this has made paying so much easier. And you can go to nedbank.co.za/Apple Pay if you'd like to find out more. Maybe you could use it to buy the ingredients for our next delicious menu in the kitchen.
You know, the best way to get over an image of Mikey in his Speedo is to make breakfast very quickly. And we're going to do that for you. A healthy and filling breakfast, it is of paramount importance and to ensure that we reach our full potential for the day. Now, whether it's work or play, to help you do the most, we've got a delicious stewed fruit breakfast cup recipe coming at you. And layers of spiced and stewed fruit. I'm going to make it very, very salivating now, surrounded by crunchy granola and yogurt. Simple, delicious, filling. So say hello to your new favorite breakfast. I do have somebody who is absolutely incredible at breakfasts. In fact, my hungry husband is something that I follow, and I see all of these recipes coming up. I had to invite Chef Ilam here to take us through it. So, Chef Ilam, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so stewed fruit is something that's quite polarizing. Some people don't like stewed fruit at all. Some people are saying, okay, I'll deal with it. What is your final sort of opinion on
Well,
it?
I think this one, because it's got fresh fruit and a little bit of dried fruit, I think we're going to win people over at home with this recipe. So I'm just going to start with my syrup.
All right.
So I've got some water that I'm putting into the pot. And then I'm adding sugar.
And I know there's a bit of a ratio with that syrup, you know,
Yeah,
water
so
to
usually
sugar.
with ratio with to make a syrup, it's usually 1:1.
Okay,
So
cool.
1 part of sugar to 1 part of water. Then I've got some dried apricots here, and I'm going to add them in now because I want to actually soften them up, and I
Alright.
want them to just like absorb some of that syrup.
So you're like rehydrating dried fruit?
Yes.
Look at you. I like it.
Then we've got some cinnamon powder and some ginger powder.
I'm enjoying the fact that the aromatics, they start, because now you know something's cooking in the kitchen. So if you're in another room, you're thinking about it, you're like, hey, something's cooking, what's happening? And then you sit at the kitchen counter waiting for whatever it is you're cooking up. Is that what happens in your home?
Pretty much, yeah.
I thought so. The smells
Well,
must be absolutely
he
incredible.
does help in the kitchen as well.
Does your hubby help?
He helps me quite a lot, actually.
Rare. You have a good one.
No, he is. He's very special.
And of course, so while we're doing our rehydration, and of course we got our fruit that's ready to go. I love this name of this clover product. It's called Authenticos. And I'm thinking, like, I feel like I was a part of the naming of it. So there's 2 new delicious Authenticos yogurt flavors. They're now available in 750 grams range. And you got coconut and apple, hello, and cinnamon involved. And then also today we're making the use of the plain flavor today. So we'll get into where that fits in a second. Rehydrating dried fruit. We also got a couple of fruits on the bench over here.
Yeah.
What do we have?
So I don't know if you can actually smell that now because it's just starting to boil.
Yes.
So we've got our fresh fruit here that we're going to add in. So we've got some apricots. Just make sure that all the pips and the seeds are out of this.
All right.
And some plums. And then lastly, we're going to add some strawberries.
So these fruits that you've chosen, ideal for this recipe, but can you replace it with something? Could you add peaches?
Yeah, so you can add whatever fruit that you have at home.
Okay,
you can
cool.
even use all dried fruit if you want.
Yeah.
Just remember that with dried fruit, they obviously have more sugar in them than fresh fruit.
All right.
So it might be, you know, just like a little bit too sweet.
Is this something that I can do for you?
Yes. So while this is going to cook, all we want is we want those. We want the fruit to kind of like soften, but not completely disintegrate.
All
so
right.
you can see here we've already got some made.
Magic
and
Love it.
What I want you to do is to actually take some of our Clover Authenticos plain yogurt, and
I feel like you have to like say it with a style, like Authenticos, and then throw a plate down to the ground. I just feel like it's got that thing. So are we adding it to?
Yeah. So we're going to add it to our little jar over there. You're going to put some yogurt first.
Okay, yogurt first, which is quite important.
Yeah.
You want to be as neat as possible because you want to get that layering, don't you?
Exactly. You want to see all the different colors.
Okay.
And then so when you put your spoon in and you take it out, you'll get like all the little, you know, all the different layers.
What do you think that for layer 1?
I think that looks good.
Perfect.
Because we're going to repeat the layers. So then we're going to go in with our stewed fruit.
Okay, great. So stewed fruit is going in.
Yeah, stewed fruit next.
Once again, I want to make it sexy for you. I want to make sure that it's amazing. If you're going to impress your hubby with this one, I want to make sure it's neat and tidy. So we'll do the necessary over there. Oh, yes. And it's smelling good because of the aromatics that you added in here a little bit. So if you didn't miss out on any of the steps and you just stepped in, you're like, what are they doing in that jar? Well, expressoshow.com, we got the recipe for you. And then what's next?
And then lastly, the granola.
Granola.
Yeah. So then once you've done the 3 layers, then you would just repeat. And then
isn't it?
Yeah. Completely, and it's so easy to make because you can make the stewed fruit, you know, before the time.
Yeah.
And you can just take your yogurt out of the fridge. You can actually make these and keep them in the fridge the night before. So you don't have to do any assembly, and it looks very impressive. I think.
Thank you.
I think if you gave this to somebody, they would be really happy.
That's what I made there, Chef, with Chef Alarm. That is our beautiful, beautiful breakfast. It's going to be your favorite very soon. As mentioned, Chef Alarm, you've been absolutely exquisite. Expressoshow.com, grab the recipe and start layering your way to the ultimate breakfast right here on Expresso. Beautiful. I'm going to smell this again. You see that? Oh, it's aromatics. You're the best. My hungry husband. I'm my hungry other husband. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ooh.
Close to you.
Yes, we're back on the Expresso stage with singer Zoe Zana and DJ and producer duo Twin Spin, and they're going to be performing another track off their collaboration album with Humber Smalls called Close to You, here to elevate your Tuesday. So here they are on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Take it away, guys.
Let's go.
Feel Good Breakfast show, Zoe Zana and the Twin Spin here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Listen, they also have an amazing experience, the Melodic Experience, happening this Sunday, the 25th. So get your hands on the tickets. It will also be available at the door, the Granddaddy Hotel. But they're still going to be here for 2 more performances on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Right now, though, it is time for those news headlines with Carl Wasty.
Looking forward to more of those performances, but for now, let's take a look at those news headlines. Now, Health Minister Zweli Mkhize says he will soon make an announcement on the resumption of vaccination with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Mkhize said certain consultations needed first to take place. The vaccinations were paused by the SA Health Products Regulatory Authority last week, the same day as the US Food and Drug Administration paused its J&J rollout because of extremely rare and severe blood clots detected in 6 out of 6.8 million Americans vaccinated. SAFRA has also recommended that vaccinations continue. The Cape Town Heritage Trust says it is shocked by the fire damage in the vicinity of UCT and the Rhodes Memorial. The historic tea room adjacent to the memorial burnt down, as well as Mostert's Mill, which was erected in 1796. At UCT, the Jagger Library was destroyed. It housed many unique collections of international value. In Fuller Residence, several works of art were destroyed. Spokesperson for the trust, Laura Robinson, said donations for the repairs to the buildings can be made to the Cape Town Heritage Foundation. On to international news. Tearful reunions filled Auckland Airport yesterday as residents from Australia were able to travel freely to New Zealand for the first time in more than a year. The long-awaited Australia-New Zealand travel bubble means visitors no longer need to quarantine on arrival. Thousands of passengers were booked to fly between the two nations yesterday. Both countries have contained COVID outbreaks and kept infection rates low, largely due to tight restrictions. Excited passengers crowded airports in Australia for flights to various parts of New Zealand yesterday, with some rising before dawn to prepare the board. Authorities in Nigeria's Katsina state say dogs and prayer sessions will be part of a new security setup to protect learners at schools from criminals. Schools in northern Nigeria have come under increased attacks from armed criminals who have abducted hundreds of learners since December. In addition to a perimeter fence, 5 guards and security posts, dogs will also be deployed at public boarding schools. There will also be at least 3 daily prayer sessions at all these schools in the predominant Muslim state. And now news from the world of entertainment. The 93rd Academy Awards will mark the first time Tinseltown's finest have assembled in over a year for a 3-hour show. The delayed April 25 ceremony, that's coming this Sunday, takes place barely a week after California opened vaccinations to all over 16s. With infection rates plummeting after a massive winter surge ripped through the state, the ceremony will take place amid the physical of Los Angeles' cavernous Union Station, with nominees mingling outdoors and then rotated in and out of the venue during the show. The traditional red carpet will be dramatically downsized and the guest list extremely limited. Most nominees are expected to attend in person, with hubs in London and Paris set up allowing Europeans unable to travel due to restrictions to dial in, but only via slick industry standard satellite hookups, not Zoom. No host has been announced, but presenters billed as the ceremony's cast will be playing themselves or a version of themselves. Previously announced A-list presenters include Harrison Ford, Brad Pitt, Halle Berry, Reese Witherspoon, with more set to be unveiled before the show. That's a wrap of your news headlines for now. Let's take a look at the sport. Here's Graham.
Thanks so much, Carl. Let's start with cricket, and the South Africans continue to shine in the IPL. The Chennai Super Kings registered a 45-run victory over the Rajasthan Royals at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai in the Indian Premier League yesterday. CSK posting 188 for 9 in their 20 overs, with South Africa's Faf du Plessis top scoring with 33 after 17 balls. That included 4 fours and 2 sixes. And after chasing that challenging 189 for victory, Rajasthan, they fell short, finishing on 143 for 9 to hand CSK the win. Today, the Delhi Capitals will face the defending IPL champions, the Mumbai Indians. That one kicking off at 4 p.m. Big news in the world of football breaking yesterday. Jose Mourinho has been sacked as Tottenham Hotspur manager. That after 17 months in charge of the club. The self-proclaimed special one replaced former coach Mauricio Pochettino as Spurs manager back in November of 2019. Mourinho guiding the club to 6th in the English Premier League standings last season, and he now leaves Spurs in 7th on the table, 5 points adrift of a Champions League spot. And then more footballing news, and while there is still speculation swirling around this one, 12 European football heavyweights are said to have agreed to establish a new competition, the Super League. So English Premier League clubs Manchester United, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Tottenham are among the 12 clubs who have agreed to join the new league. Spanish giants Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, along with Italian football clubs Juventus, Inter Milan and AC Milan, will also participate in the competition. Apparently, the founding clubs will still be able to compete in their respective national leagues whilst taking part in the new midweek competition, but we'll certainly watch that space very closely. Now back onto the action happening on the field now. Reigning champions Liverpool, it must be said, squandered the chance to move into the top 4 of the English Premier League standings after recording a 1-1 draw at Leeds. Sadio Mane opening the scoring for the Reds in the 31st minute as they looked set to record the win, but the Whites equalising in the dying minutes of the match. It was an 87th minute header from the centre of the box by Diego Llorente that helped Leeds draw at home. And there'll be just one Premier League fixture tonight. It's the high-riding Chelsea welcoming Brighton to Stamford Bridge. That one kicks off at 9 p.m. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's get another look at some of your beautiful sunrise pictures and get a take on today's weather.
Thanks a lot, G. Featuring the stunning images of our viewers capturing those sunrise images are absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for sending yours. And for your 7 a.m. update, we have received this glorious image of the sun rising in the distance from Mala Bianca Makan. Nompila Mtetwa, thanks to you sharing this stunning photo showing of contrasting hues of yellow, orange and blue in the morning sky. Please do continue to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page, and don't forget to share your location with us too, so we can give you a brief temperature update for your area too. Now, while we love interacting with our local viewers, we also have to acknowledge our growing international audience who tune in via the Africa channel and YouTube. So far, your 7 a.m. update, we are featuring Kansas City, the largest city in Missouri by population. Now, Kansas City lies in the Midwestern United States near the geographic center of the country at the confluence of the Missouri and Kansas rivers. A winter weather advisory has been issued for the area. Frost and freeze conditions are expected. Take necessary precautionary measures for the sub-freezing temperatures. Now, moving over to South America, Brazil's environment minister says the country needs $10 billion a year in foreign aid in order to reach zero emissions by 2050. The move would mean that Brazil could achieve the symbolic figure 10 years earlier than currently planned. It comes ahead of U.S. President Joe Biden's climate summit later this week. Brazil's environmental policies have brought international condemnation since President Jair Bolsonaro took office 2 years ago. He has encouraged agriculture and mining activities in the Amazon, the world's largest rainforest. Environment Minister Ricardo Salles said $1 billion would be used to reach zero illegal deforestation in the Amazon by 2030. He added that a third of the money would be used to recruit more environmental agents, potentially from the National Military Police. His call for foreign aid comes as Bolsonaro's government is attempting to negotiate a deal with the U.S. in which it would receive financial aid in return for protecting the Amazon. So that's a good trade-off, 100%. Moving along to some of your temperatures, and let's take a look at those. Always starting in Polokwane. For you, 10 is your minimum. That is to a high of 23 degrees today. Bombela, you can expect 24 as your max. That is from a low of 15. Pretoria, you can expect 12 to 24. Johannesburg, 22 is your max from a low of 10 degrees Celsius. Mahikeng, good morning to you. 26 is the max from a low of 10. Klerksdorp, 11 to 27 degrees Celsius. Kimberley, you can expect 12 to 27. Bloemfontein, 8 to 25. Richards Bay, you can expect an 80% chance of thunder showers in your area with a high of 23 from a low of 16. Pietermaritzburg, 12 to 20 for you with a 51% chance of precipitation. Durban, 55% chance of rain, 23 the high from a low of 18. Umtata, 11 to 17. East London, you can expect 16 this morning, rising to only 20 later. Cradock, 11 to 24. Gqeberha, 8, that's actually 15 to 22. George, you can expect 14 to 21. The Mother City, 24 degrees Celsius as a max from a low of 13. Worcester, 12 to 30. Sutherland, 10 to 24 today. And Uppington wrapping up with you as per usual, 16 to 32 degrees Celsius. Those are your temperatures for now. Keep on sending those sunrise pictures to us, and we'd love to find out exactly where you're sending them from so we can feature them right here on Expresso on S3.
So obviously with the cooler weather now starting to trickle in, it's important for us to keep ourselves strong and healthy. No need to lose your earrings in the process and throw it out. The help is at hand. Don't worry, Golden. So forget the urban legends. Flu shots do not cause the flu. It's not an active virus. It stimulates the antibodies within your system. And it is true that the vaccination isn't 100% effective, but what it does do is significantly reduce the severity and intensity of the flu. Haven't we learned a lot about vaccines?
Oh, yes.
In the last couple of months, and from all angles. So now Jamie really does know this all too well. She had her flu shot last week, and look, she's still here perfectly. Take a look.
Okay,
wow,
so relax this nicely for me.
Chill.
Relax your arm.
You're in a beautiful forest.
Okay.
The sunlight is drifting through the trees.
And we're done.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Is that it?
Go.
Keep in mind.
It didn't hurt you at all.
It didn't hurt me again. Absolutely.
Wow.
I've got a record. Lisa, I trust you now. 20 years, I didn't feel a thing. To be fair, I was also very dramatic, but I will say that I didn't do dishes for the next couple of days after that. Because I was like, no, I got the flu shot.
You're a card-carrying member,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the deal, eh? No dishes for at least 2 days once you've had it done. But if you missed that segment, don't worry, because senior pharmacist and wonderful human being Lisa Giltro will be joining Pali and Tumi on Afternoon Express today at 5:30 to discuss why the flu vaccination is so vitally important. They'll also be getting their flu shots on the show, so don't forget to tune in. Should be entertaining. You think Pali's going to be as dramatic as you?
Oh,
definitely.
10 times worse. 10 times. We're like, no, I can't do this. But we'll check it out tonight.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso and S3, and some health advice is vitally important for you. Now, if I think about it, South African Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, has announced the voluntary suspension of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine rollout in the country, and COVID-19 registrations for the phase 2 of the plan have officially opened despite the rollout suspension. Now, infectious diseases specialist Dr. Neil Reid had to be called in when I heard about this, and he's back to give us an update on the COVID-19 vaccine in SA. And if you have any questions, please feel free. This is your show. 021 110 552. Welcome, Doctor.
Welcome, Doctor.
Great to be back.
Do you know what? I was actually just speaking to G about this yesterday or this past couple of days, what's happening in Cape Town. It kind of just took my mind off the fact that we are still going through COVID. It is still real, you know, with the fires going on. It kind of made us forget that this is happening. Unfortunately not. COVID is still real. We're still going through this global pandemic. What are our numbers currently looking like in South Africa?
Well, if you think about it, guys, I mean, kids have gone back to school.
Yeah.
We're back at churches, people are congregating, winter's coming, you got your jab. And the big issue currently is COVID is lurking. COVID is around. We need to probably double down as we sit here, wear our masks, social distance, sanitizing on a daily basis. Our cases currently round about 23,000 active cases, and what we experience within the hospital setup is the numbers slightly creeping up. Okay. You've already seen the Northern Province, Northern Cape, Free State, numbers are going up. So, I mean, that's a telltale sign. In India, I mean, million cases within 3 to 4 days. America, 80,000 cases a day despite being vaccinated. So I think we need to take cognizance of what's happening all around the world, and we need to double down.
I completely agree. You know, what happens psychologically with any population is when there's an air of vaccine, there's an air of taking my foot off the accelerator with regard to everything. But now more than ever, we should be putting the foot on the accelerator and doubling up, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
I do know that a lot of the anti-vaxxers, they had a lot of fun with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine being pulled.
Yes.
Almost like a told you so moment.
Yes.
And there were people talking to me and saying, die clots, meneer, die clots, right. I'm not going to do it. Why did government decide that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine should be pulled?
I think the one thing, it's all about benefit risk on the one side, and something interesting with regards to the anti-vaxxers and those people who said, I told you so.
Yes.
Those are the people who said, well, COVID has got 98% of people will get COVID and they're not going to get sick. So why should I be vaccinated? Those people are exactly the group who's worried about the 0.00004% of people who develop clots. So the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is an important part of South African armamentarium to fight COVID, and also in all other third world countries. So this vaccine have not been pulled. It's been a pause that's been put on the virus because, as you know, 6 ladies aged between 18 and 48 developed blood clots in America out of 7 million people, just to put it in context. And just to share with you, if you think of the context that we're talking about, the chances of you getting a clot, maybe 1 in a million, 1.2 million. Chances of being struck by lightning, 1 in 500,000. The chances of you developing a blood clot while you're pregnant, probably 1 in 4,000. Chance of you developing a blood clot while you have COVID, probably 16%.
Sure.
So if you look at the risk-benefit ratio, the benefit of this vaccine far outweighs the risk.
Yes.
And I think that is important. And people should remember, the more people we vaccinate, so should we get to 30 million people being vaccinated, surely there's going to be people having some form of abnormality. And whether that has got anything to do with the vaccine or not, it's going to happen, and it's going to be reported. And we are very happy in South Africa that the 300,000 healthcare workers that we have vaccinated this year have had no negative side effects whatsoever.
So then just clear that up, and maybe you can say this in your own words. Is there a problem with the Johnson & Johnson vaccination?
No. There is no problem with the vaccination. Yeah. And I think the reason for the pause is purely because of safety concerns. And as you remember, what we were busy doing currently in South Africa was the implementation study. And if you do a study, you need to watch what happens to the participants. And obviously, if something should happen, you need to investigate further what's the next step, whether we need to stop this vaccine or whether we can actually proceed. And as you've heard over the weekend, the decision has been made to continue in the coming week with the J&J jab.
Well, I mean, this information is vitally important. We needed to hear this, and I know that there are many people who have some questions. And if you have any of those, stay tuned to the Feel Good Breakfast Show as infectious diseases specialist Dr. Emile Reid answers all of your questions on that number, 021-110-552, and we'll have another part for you, giving you a bit more of an in-depth look into the vaccine. So stand by for that, and stick with us right here on Expresso.
Now, let's get into medical matters. Our next guest is Dr. Emmanuel Taban, one of only 10 black pulmonologists in South Africa. But more than that, during 2020, he was at the forefront of the treatment of COVID-19 patients in ICU. And Taban, in fact, was the first pulmonologist in the world to perform a therapeutic bronchoscopy on a hyposemic COVID-19 patient. Incredible big term, but thankfully he's here to break it down for us.
Well, he's also written a book. You know, here's the thing. He's written a whole autobiography, The Boy Who Never Gave Up, a refugee's epic journey to triumph. And he's got quite a story to tell. You want to be listening to it. And he joins us here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Dr. Taban, so good to have you this morning. Good morning.
Thank you, Graham and Tabiso. Thank you for having me in your show this morning. Yes, it's actually been very interesting. I think life is a journey.
It's a crazy journey for you, I would imagine, over the last year and a half. Before we focus on your autobiography and your own journey, let's talk about the collective journey that we've all been on. I'm sure I completely butchered this term. Therapeutic bronchoscopy on a hyposemic COVID-19 patient. Feel free to laugh out loud. First of all, what does that actually mean in layman's terms?
I think let's probably break the term down. Hyposemic means people that have less oxygen.
Okay.
People that are on life support, or they're about to be put on life support. I mean, as a human being, we breathe, take oxygen from air, but those people, because their lungs are compromised, now they're unable, the oxygen that they breathe through the air is no longer enough for them, so we need to supplement it.
Okay.
And basically what happened, bronchoscopy normally are done there are a lot of different indications. It's normal for really to diagnose infections in the lungs. And if you have lung tumors, where we do biopsy or resections, and also certain kind of, if you're bleeding from the lung. However, when COVID-19 came, there was a literature actually come that COVID-19 patients don't develop mucus plug. So now I had patients that were on the life support for 5 to 7 days. And those patients actually, they were dying because the oxygen, no matter how much oxygen you put in, they were not recovering very well.
Wow.
And that was the reason why I did the bronchoscopy.
And then, of course, this became, you know, it was a treatment for COVID-19 patients. How successful, how significant has it proven to be successful in treating those COVID patients in ICU?
I think that it's a very good life-saving treatment, but again, it's not everybody who had COVID-19 would develop mucus plugs. There's a certain group of patients, that what we call the H type, that might actually develop mucus plugs. So probably 1 out of 10. I have published an article, and have to be in selective group of patients. And if it's done at the right time, you will have a good results.
Wow. You sound now, you talk about it quite matter of fact, but I would imagine the first time you've got to do a procedure that's never been done before, you must be anxious, surely. Were you nervous? How did you feel about kind of breaking this new ground?
Well, I think the reality about life that all of us were very afraid to venture into unknown territory, and especially when World Health Organization tell you that don't do it, you know. And I think for me, I always having that curiosity because I needed to get answers. And yes, I put my career at risk by doing the bronchoscopy, but it turned out well, and you end saving lives. So I think for me, the general message of the public there that you will never have invasion, you will never have any intervention coming out new if you have not, you know, venture out of your normal...
You don't have the bravery, yeah,
exactly.
For sure.
And I suppose at the core of it is that you are driven by the desire and I suppose the commitment to saving lives, and this you are rooted in. And so even when you are hearing, you know, all of these voices in your head and all of this anxiety, you are still wanting to forge forward.
Yeah, well, I think, yes, that I've always been driven by passion. Passion is what really drives me. And then, I mean, my patient survival, it means a lot for me. Just imagine, losing a patient is a one-way ticket. You're not coming back. So I think for me, it's always very difficult for me. I struggle to sign a death certificate, especially if I haven't done my best. So I wanted to do what's best for my patient, make sure that I've gone all the way. And if the end of the day, the demise, then well and good. But I need to make sure that I've done 100% to my patients.
I would imagine you are driven on a number of levels, and yes, as a doctor, in this version of yourself that I see before me, but very much by the person that you were, coming from, to say humble beginnings is a complete understatement. Born in the Sudan, you were tortured by your government. What was your experience of life like then? I know it's an answer that's probably best you know, put in full diction, but how do you put that into context now?
Look, I think it looks like all those experiences that I went through during my childhood, throughout my journey, being in prison, tortured, it looks like it's preparing me for this time. So sometimes the negative things happen in our life, but they're there for a reason. It depends how you look at them. And one of the most important things, of course, that I never succumbed to become a victim. So I never developed that victim mentality, because if I suppose I do, then I would not be where I am today. But I taken all those negative experience to drive me forward. So in other words, it's just like a fuel that extra propel me to my next journey.
It's staggering to see how far you've come, and it is wonderful to see what you are able to do now, but I really do want to find out more about the journey that has brought you to us here in South Africa and to your point in your own life as a now a global leading pulmonologist. So we're going to make sure that the doctor stays right where he is, and I suggest that you do the same. We have just touched the surface of Dr. Emmanuel Taban's life story. We're going to continue on that journey, so stay with us for more.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. We are continuing with our health discussion this morning. Now, infectious disease specialist Dr. Emil Reid is still with us, and he's ready to answer all of your burning questions with regards to the coronavirus vaccine. Dr. Emil Reid, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Let's start off, before we get into some of the viewer questions on 021 110 552, I figured registration process, it's in full swing. We are in phase 2 now. Who should be registering on the electronic system at the moment?
Well, currently, because we know coronavirus infection probably affects the elderly more than the young people, the registration started on Friday, 4 o'clock, for those older than 60 years of age. So what you do is you log onto the system, the electronic vaccine data system. You register yourself, make sure you've got your ID book, address, telephone number, and within 24 hours you will receive confirmation that they have received your registration. And what will happen within the next few weeks, probably commencing round about the 15th of May, you will get an SMS to say, yes, your eligibility have been confirmed, and you can go to get vaccinated at the following site.
Oh, wow.
So there's going to be around about 2,000 sites that's going to open all over the country. So whether it's the private, whether it's the state sector, whether it's the GP or the pharmacy, people will be able to get their jab whichever is convenient for them and wherever is convenient for them.
That's exciting. It gives us hope. We
Brilliant.
also have a caller on the line right now. A very good morning to you. What is your question for the good doctor?
I just want to know, the courts cleared ivermectin, the use of ivermectin. Now, how come they're not talking about it? How come people is not getting it?
Okay. Thank you for that question, caller. I think the important thing we must remember, ivermectin is an antiparasitic drug. And for myself as an infectious disease physician, I've been using ivermectin for many years for chronic parasitic infections and also especially for drug-resistant scabies. And ivermectin is used in South America, particularly for certain patient populations there, because they have a chronic parasitic condition called strongyloides. And it's also been shown that anecdotally that in those people that use ivermectin that they might have some form of benefit when it comes to COVID-19 as well. Being scientists, we need to use medication that have been proven to work, especially in randomized controlled studies. And up to now, the use of ivermectin wasn't that, the evidence for using ivermectin wasn't good in any way. So currently, they have cleared the doctors to be using ivermectin. Just be sure to understand that we currently don't have medication or the tablet formulation for ivermectin in this country. We only have ivermectin that is available for animal use. And it's very difficult to deduct from that the dosage that you need to give someone, especially if they have COVID-19. So not all practitioners understand ivermectin very, very well, and ivermectin has not been proven in randomized control studies to be as efficacious as what we thought it would be. So hence the reason we're not talking about it too much.
Thank you so much to Mrs. Davids from Cape Town for the question. We stay in Cape Town. Cynthia, Dr. Emile Reid is listening to you. What's your question?
I just want to know, I've got only 40% capacity, lung capacity, and I've had the pneumonia injection 4 years ago. So I just want to know if I need to take the COVID injection.
Cynthia, thank you very much for your question. I think people with underlying conditions are at very high risk for respiratory tract infections. Hence the reason for your doctor to prescribe the pneumococcal vaccine. And a pneumococcal vaccine actually have two vaccines that you have to take round about 8 weeks from one another, and that will give you a lifetime benefit against pneumococcal disease. We also vaccinate our little kids when they are born. We also give them pneumococcal vaccination because it prevents middle ear infections, prevents meningitis, etc. Coming to the COVID jab, and especially for you living with 50% lung capacity, there's two things that are important, especially with winter lurking. You need to get the flu jab, like Jamie Lee got, and after that, in all likelihood, also the COVID-19 vaccination. Please be sure that if you get both of them, that you actually take them 2 weeks apart, just to make sure there's no cross-reaction, there's no interference, and that there's no interference also with regards to side effects. So both of you is important, both of the vaccines is important for you, but 2 weeks apart. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you to Cynthia, and also thank you to Mrs. Davids from Cape Town for calling in this morning. Also thank you to you, Dr. Emile Reid, for sharing your knowledge on the coronavirus vaccine with us this morning. Now, you at home, stay tuned to your Feel Good Breakfast show as we have another health discussion coming up with Dr. Shahroch Nahrwar in just a little bit, so don't go anywhere.
Thanks for staying with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, here on S3. Open up to some inspiring conversations. We have quite the special guest in studio this morning, one of only 10 black pulmonologists in South Africa, and we're talking to Dr. Emmanuel Taban, who made a groundbreaking discovery in terms of the treatment of COVID-19 patients in ICU, and that has actually just been published. And he was also very lucky to be able to write an autobiography, The Boy Who Never Gave Up, a refugee's epic journey to triumph, about his escape from war-torn Sudan. Dr. Emmanuel Taban, thanks for staying with us.
Do you notice how he didn't give the term of the treatment to try, hey?
No, there was no need for that. No need for that.
It's amazing to hear what you are doing now with your life and the gifts that you have been given, but it's taken you quite a while, as your epic journey displayed in your autobiography tells us. We've touched on an unimaginable journey as a child in Sudan. Let's fast forward to arriving in South Africa. 18 months after making it to Johannesburg, you started your education officially, and this is now where you find yourself with the help of Catholic missionaries, as I understand it. Why medicine? Was that always the goal? Why was education so key to unlocking your potential ultimately?
I think medicine probably, since when I was born, at the age of 7 years old, I remember one of the nurses in the village actually thought that I would become a doctor. And the same thing also when I was in Eritrea as a street child, one of the lawyer, who was an American citizen, also suggested that I should become a doctor. But little did I know actually that it was going to be my destiny. Of course, when I arrived in South Africa, I was destitute. I didn't have anywhere to stay until I got a chance to go to primary school, to high school, Standard 9 in Lukwatini area. And I did my matric in 1997, which I ended passing. But my marks was very low, was 57%. So I remember I went to Wits. I was supposed to do engineering at Wits University, but then my marks was a bit lower. And then I went for accounting, but then I thought, no, it wasn't for me, until I went to the high to what you call the Technicon, and I was accepted to do electrical engineering. And initially I was excited, but something inside me crept that I was not meant to be a technical calling. Yeah. Exactly, it wasn't my calling. And I decided I wanted to repeat my matric, and that was the. And when I went for matric, actually, one of the most important things that I was already 20 years old, and I just done matric, and I wasn't qualified actually to go to that school, actually JPI School for Boys, but for whatever reason, nature just opened up, and I was allowed to repeat my matric at JPI School for Boys, and that's what propelled me to do medicine actually in Medunsa, yeah.
Sometimes it really is that, right? That one door unlocks.
Just give you an opportunity.
Really gives you the opportunity. But your story is absolutely mind-blowing, because it's very inspiring too. Being rejected by family, being tortured by government. How does anyone even survive that? How did you survive that? What kept you going?
I think the fact that I have lost a lot in my life, but I have more to gain. You know, once you're down on the floor, you can't go much deeper than that. The only way you can go only up. And I just knew that education was the key in unlocking the doors for the future in my life. And that was the reality. And I think, if you look at Africa, what's our major problem? It's lack of skills. You know, if you don't have skills, you cannot do anything in your life. And I think for me, I knew that through education, that's when I can defeat a lot of things in my life, include like segregation, racial, or xenophobia, whatever it is. I need to get educated to open up my mind, to become productive and contribute. And that was what really drive me to become who I am today. And I think for me, education is a key in any sector in society.
The most powerful weapon, but also the most important key.
I have a feeling I'm going to lose myself in your autobiography, and as astounded as I am now that you are sitting here talking about the things that you have gone through in this fashion, I am as pleased that you are able to not only provide what you do in the medical field, but also that you're able to tell the story so that other people, especially now when the journey and the conditions that refugees across the world are facing, people can find out about firsthand what that is like. But thank you so much for spreading your message of inspiration with us. An incredible opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's very important for the people out there to know that, you know what, don't allow your circumstance to limit you.
And that's the message.
And that's for me is the most important thing. And I think you need to kind of keep pushing. The fact that the door is closed, please just push it gently or look through the keyhole. You'll be surprised what you see.
And then kick it down.
And then kick it down. But I think it's also empowering knowing that it's all in your hands. Sometimes you're not going to have anyone lifting you up. You've got to have that willpower and be driven by that. We're seeing that in this story that certainly is going to be so inspiring to so many people. An incredibly inspiring story of survival and success against all odds. A refugee's epic journey to triumph. That is Dr. Emmanuel Taban.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back, everybody. You're still opening up right here with S3 on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Yes, it is Tuesday, and Tuesday is Tuesday, and choosing healthy, believe it or not, will never go out of style. Absolutely not. Now, if you think healthy eating means extra cost or just that food is bland, then our sweet potato cakes with a Bliss herb yogurt dip might convince you otherwise. And Ilam, you are here to show us exactly how to create this treat.
Yes.
It's mind-blowing because sweet potato with yogurt. Is it sweet? Is it savory?
Well, I mean, you know, sweet potato is, because it's a root vegetable, it's like kind of earthy. And then we've got this really vibrant dip that's going to go with it, and you can see all of the herbs over there, so that's what's going to make this sauce really good.
We're not going to talk about the herbs yet because everything looks the same to me. I'm like, Ilam, what is this? There's three things. Let's start with the base first, which is obviously the sweet potato.
Yes.
Take us through that.
So we've just got about maybe 3 to 4 sweet potatoes that have been cooked and mashed, so these are quite soft, and we're going to add some spring onion to this. Now, this sweet potato cake is actually vegan, so there's no egg or milk or anything in this mixture. So it's perfect for, you know, a vegetarian or a vegan person. So I've got some coriander, some spring onion. I'm going to add some chili flakes.
I'm obsessed with chili flakes.
So am I. But if you don't like chili, then, you know, just leave it out. And then we're also adding some soya sauce. Now, the soya sauce will add that salty, you know, flavor, but also that umami-ness.
So umami-ness. I don't think that's a thing, but if it is a thing,
we're going to make it a thing.
Umami-ness.
Yeah. And so we're just going to mix this up, and then we're going to add our self-raising flour. So we don't even have to add bicarb or baking powder because we've got self-raising flour. And we're just going to mix this together. Let me use a spoon. And we're going to form these into patties, and then we're going to fry them. And you know, if you don't have some of these ingredients, you can always substitute them. So for example, if you don't have spring onion, or if you have other things in your fridge that you want to use up, like red onion or chives, other herbs, you know, add them in, like the more the merrier.
I would also say like corn. I would imagine adding corn to this would also be
that would be
great
delicious.
for it.
Yeah.
And I'm also loving the fact that you're using sweet potato because it really is like a low carb option. So if you are trying to cut out on any of the carbs, a perfect substitute for that.
And you know, sweet potato is really filling because it has, you know, quite a lot of fiber. So something like this would keep you full for, you know, for a good while.
A good while.
So I'm just going to put some oil in our frying pan. And then I'm going to form these into a patty. And maybe while I'm doing that, you can make our sauce for us.
I will get into this. Maybe you need a hand with a list of the ingredients, and you can get that on expressoshow.com. And I'm going to start with the herb dipping sauce. So what am I doing?
So we're going to add some of our bliss sauce into the bowl, and then we've got 3 green herbs there. So we've got some chopped mint, some chopped coriander, and some chopped parsley. That's going to be...
Is that enough?
Yeah, that's enough. And then we've got just some seasoning, some salt, some pepper, and some lemon juice. So you can just go ahead and add all of the herbs.
I'm trying to smell if I can identify this. So this is the mint, which I love.
Yeah. And you know, Jamie, since we're both fasting, this would be a great thing to have for iftar. For supper.
Perfect.
Yeah. You want like a really nice vegetable starter.
Definitely. So some salt and some pepper going in, and some lemon. And I think this would just be a perfect pair together. We obviously have the salt, the umami-ness from the sweet potato, and the creaminess of the yogurt dip will just pair so perfectly together. I didn't throw the lemon juice in, and I'm going to put that in as well, and then just mix it all together.
And then I'm just going to flip these over.
How are we looking with that? And do you want it to be nice and brown? And
yeah, not as brown as my first one.
Not as... The first one is always going to fail, okay? So
it's like that pancake, you know, that first pancake that's always a flop. So now that it's just gonna lightly brown on the other side, and then we'll take it out, and then we'll serve it with our lovely bliss dip.
And obviously we see the beautiful display over there. It is beautiful, it smells amazing, and perfect for if you want to do a vegan or vegetarian dish, obviously minus the dip. Now remember as well, for you at home, you do stand a chance to win a VIP experience with Bliss. All you have to do is simply purchase your favorite Clover Bliss double cream yogurt, and then dial *120*809# and follow the prompts. Now there are also movie tickets to be won, to go on and get entering. Remember, those T's and C's do apply and can be found on clover.co.za. But if you missed any of the steps to this delicious recipe, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
The feel-good breakfast show that you love. We are here live on Expresso and S3, and singer Zoe Zana has been keeping busy during lockdown alongside DJ producer duo Twinspin and their producer Hamba Smalls. They're taking to the stage on Expresso to ensure that you're entertained. And this one, I would tell you to move the coffee table, but I think it's important for you to slow it down a little bit. This is off the album Book of Love, and it's called Take Me to My Love. Do enjoy.
song, but we felt to just bring it down a bit so that we could connect with you and so that you could connect with the music. This is Take Me to My Love. I wanted to tell you how I feel, but you know how words get in the way, and I needed to show you that it's real, but I couldn't find the words to say, so I put it in a song. I hope you sing along. I hope you learn to love me, and even if you don't, I know you're my soulmate and that you have my heart. I love you from a distance, this is where you belong. Take me to my love. Take me to my love. Take me to my love. Oh, take me to my love, yeah. Take me to my love. Yo, sing with me. Take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me, take me to my love. I would go over and above. Take me to my love. There is no one else I'd rather love. So take me to my love, or take me to my love. Take me to my love, or take me to my love. Take me to my love. There's a special feeling that I feel when I'm holding your hand. Someone can love you and leave you and deceive you, and you won't understand. They leave a tattoo in your heart, and you know it right from the start. You control it. Someone can love you and leave you, then go and deceive you, and you won't understand. Take me to my love. I would go over and above. Take me to my love. There is no one else I'd rather love. So take me to my love. Take me to my love. Take me to my love. Oh, take me to my love. Take me to my love. Oh, take me to my love. Take me to my love. Take me. 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 Take me to my love. Oh, take me to my love. Take me to my love. Take me to my love. Thank you.
Zana, you know what? I'm a big fan of Zoe's, and you are no different. The Melodic Experience is coming up on Sunday, 25 April. You know, Mus.
Wow.
And if you want to get yourself a ticket, $70 at the door, Granddaddy Hotel. It's called the 38 Eatery, Zoe and Friends. It's going to be melodic. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Zoe Zana will be performing a little bit later for you, so stick around right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso and S3.
With the creamy decadence of double cream bliss from Clover, yogurt has never been so irresistible.
Made with love by Clover.
Here's to you, Mzansi. Get 50% off the attorney bond registration fee plus 5,000 Rand cashback on your approved home loan. Dial *120 *001 *123 hash to find out how much you qualify for.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Time now for a very important update. As of last night, although the devastating fire that broke out near Rhodes Memorial on Sunday morning has been contained, more than 150 firefighters and volunteers, as well as 30 firefighting appliances, have remained on the ground amidst very windy conditions still. The fire has caused, as we've reported, extensive environmental and structural damage, as well as upheaval in the lives of many nearby residents and students who have had to be evacuated from their homes to avoid smoke inhalation. Now joining Expresso today to share a little bit more about the battle against this raging fire is the Provincial Communications Officer for Working on Fire, Limakatso Kaliane. Thank you so much for joining us, Limakatso. Crazy couple of days for you guys, I'm sure.
It has been since from Sunday. We haven't been able to sleep. We have always been sending teams to that fire day and night. We've sent our resources to try and assist in suppression efforts.
Kudos to you and the team and just everyone for rallying together during this time. I think one thing that's been crazy is just seeing so much things on the news and the media and social media as well. Obviously, it's been reported that on Sunday night, someone has been arrested for this. Maybe you can tell us how exactly the fire started.
It's very unfortunate. I can't go into details. I'll leave that to the relevant law enforcement who are dealing with.
Sure, it's an open case still, yeah.
With that. But what I can tell you is that from the moment the fire broke out, we sent out our firefighters. We have field and forest firefighters who are trained. So they were we were one of the first agency to be called into that fire. We sent out a hotshot team that is a visiting team from across South Africa. We have firefighters from across South Africa who have been sent to the Western Cape to be able to assist in situations like this. These guys have been in the city or in the province since December, and they were hoping to leave end of April. But if the situation continues to be like this, we need them to be able to be in the province to come and assist us. But over and above, we also had our team in Newlands. We had a False Bay team. We have Strand. We have Helderberg. We have Mamre. We have another hotshot team that is based in Volvokloof near Ceres that had to come and assist.
So all
altogether
hands
we
on
had
deck, yeah.
Yes, we had 115 firefighters on the ground working in rotation, others working overnight while others take a day shift.
Sure.
I think also what was very helpful to be able to slow down because it was getting out of order. It's our aerial resources. On the first day, we sent 4 choppers. We sent a spotter, which is just going around to observe if how the fire is going, if there's an area that needs urgent attention. So we had 5 aerial resources on the ground, and then the 4 choppers were just dropping, water bombing the fire, 1,000 litre per drop. For more than 400,000 liters that were dropped on Sunday only. And then we are so proud that 15,000 of that was dropped at UCT, who were able to put out the blaze that was getting out of control.
Yeah, we've seen the devastation there, unfortunately, especially to the library, where we've lost some valuable resources. We know the winds also made it very tricky for the helicopters at points. So where did the fire extend to, and why was it able to spread so quickly? Is it all just due to the wind?
Yeah, most of the time it was just due to the wind, because I can just tell you that on the first day, it was very challenging to be able to fight it from one direction, because when they're fighting it from this direction, it will come towards them, they'll have to move and go to another direction. It was constantly changing. So that's what caused it to spread, to areas like Rondebosch Observatory.
Across the highway,
Across the highway. It even crossed the highway towards Newlands, but it didn't reach that side it didn't go any further than Newlands.
And we know a couple of firefighters have been treated for burns, and you know that comes with the territory when dealing with this kind of unimaginable fire.
Yeah, it's very scary. It's very scary. But working on fire, the training that we give our firefighters, we always make sure that they're able to get out of a tricky situation. Like, for example, I was working with the False Bay team yesterday, just underneath the peak of Devil's Peak, if I'm correct. And when we were there, it was just quiet. They were doing, just putting out areas that were threats of, flaring up. We were just there. It was quiet. All of a sudden, within a split of a second, there was a huge flame in front of us.
And I was watching that. I was kind of on the other side of town watching that happen, and it seemed like I even thought to myself, oh, okay, we've got it under control. Moments later, the mountain's on fire. Crazy.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, there's still a lot of people sharing stuff, everyone's getting involved. How can people lend a helping hand to assist you and the team that
What do you need from the public?
Well, there's been a lot of we are very grateful to a lot of people from Cape Town who have been sending donations. They're dropping donations at the Newlands Park there by the Sun Park, and then the other people also dropping stuff at the fire station in the city of Cape Town fire station in the city. But over and above, I'd like to encourage residents to protect themselves, to be able to protect themselves from these kinds of fires. Working on Fire has a fire awareness department where we go out to communities. We teach communities about how to be fire safe, how to protect their properties from runaway fires like these ones. We have social media pages. We have Working on Fire awareness pages. If they can just, go and be part of that. Some of these things, they know them, but when you keep seeing them, you are able to implement, or you're able to remember those things. So, yeah.
I know we're not quite out of the woods yet, so I hope that the next couple of days things remain under control. But thank you so much for the efforts of you and an extensive team of firefighters and volunteers working on the ground level. We know that you guys are putting yourselves at great peril to save not just buildings, but literally people's lives. So thank you so much for your efforts, and please stay safe.
It's our pleasure.
And as always, we've got to thank the Cape Town residences for stepping up as well, for being a part of that solution. A crazy, as I said, couple of days for Cape Town, but it seems that the fire for now is under control, but we need to remain vigilant.
I just have to reiterate that. Thank you so much to every single firefighter, volunteer, and anybody who has donated. We appreciate you over the past 48 hours, and let's continue showing that spirit of Ubuntu here in Cape Town and beyond in South Africa. It is 8 a.m. time to look at your headlines, and we'll start off with the National Prosecuting Authority, the NPA. They have announced that the formal inquest into the deaths of 144 psychiatric patients in Gauteng in 2015 will start in July in the Pretoria High Court. Many of the patients died allegedly from starvation and neglect after the Gauteng Health Department had cancelled its contract with Life Esidimeni, and patients were transferred to unsuitable NGOs. The formal inquest follows damning findings by the Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, who led an inquiry into the tragedy. He found government officials had acted in breach of the law and the Constitution. Staying in South Africa, Health Minister Willem Kiese says he will soon make an announcement on the resumption of vaccination with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Kiese said certain consultations first needed to take place. The vaccinations were paused by the SA Health Products Regulatory Authority last week, the same day the U.S. Food and Drug Administration paused its J&J rollout because of extremely rare and severe blood clots detected in 6 out of the 6.8 million Americans vaccinated. SAFRA has already recommended that vaccinations continue. Moving abroad, Tanzania's first female president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has been hailed as being unafraid to steer the country in a new direction, has asked Parliament to stop debates comparing her with her predecessor, John Magufuli. She said she was disappointed that Parliament was discussing her differences with the former president. She has made notable changes, including the setting up of the team to advise on COVID-19, the severity of which had been downplayed by her predecessor. She's also allowed some media outlets to reopen that had been censored. Tearful reunions filled Auckland airports yesterday as residents from Australia were able to travel freely to New Zealand for the first time in more than a year. The long-awaited Australia-New Zealand travel bubble means visitors no longer need to quarantine on arrival. Thousands of passengers were booked to fly between the two nations yesterday. Both countries have contained COVID outbreaks and kept infection rates low. Excited passengers crowded airports in Australia for flights to various parts of New Zealand yesterday, with some rising before dawn to prepare to board. And next, the story from Northwest Province, sure to tug at your heartstrings. Uncle Solly Mokoena started working at Potchefstroom High School for boys at the tender age of 19 and recently retired after, as he puts it, 46 golden years of service. Uncle Solly describes Potch Boys as his second home, a place where he made many wonderful memories. One of his tasks was transporting the boys to various sports tournaments. Jokingly, he says, and I quote, "I was grateful for this task because I got to see the world." The boys regarded him as a father. He reprimanded them, he helped them when they needed it, he helped build their relationships, and of course, upon hearing that Uncle Solly's dedicated service had been acknowledged with just a small farewell function, old boys of the school started the Get Solly a Bucky initiative. Former student and educators and other associated with the school donated to the cause and soon gifted him with a truck worth some 150,000 rand. The old boys also thanked him on behalf of everyone he had served so loyally. He is currently a subsistence farmer near Rustenburg, and the truck comes in very handy. A nice light note to wrap up news for you. Let's jump on to weather. Here's Jamie Lee.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carl Wasey. Here's a final look at the stunning pictures, now featuring the stunning images of our viewers captured. The sunrise photos in their area of the country has really become a highlight of our mornings. And we started this morning off in Gqeberha, where Estelle Maritz shared this overcast morning view with us. Take a look at that. And then Madeline Nicholson shared this gorgeous golden glow cast by the sun over the landscape of her area. At 7 a.m. we also received this glorious image of the sun rising in the distance from Mala Bianca Milan, rather. And then last but definitely not least, Nompilo also shared this stunning photo showing off contrasting hues of yellow, some orange and blue in the morning sky. Now, please do continue to share your sunrise photos with us on the Expresso Facebook page, and don't forget to share your location with us too, so we can give you a brief temperature update for your area too. Now, of course, while we do enjoy experiencing a sunrise from your part of South Africa, we do have some international viewers tuning in on both YouTube and the Africa channel in the USA. And this morning we're reporting on the weather from Detroit, Michigan. Now, regarded as a major cultural center, Detroit is known for its contributions to music and as a repository for art, architecture and design, along with its historical automotive background. Now, Detroit is a major port on the Detroit River, one of the 4 major straits that connect the Great Lakes system. Now, if you are in Detroit today, you can expect snow and rainfall of about 5 to 10 centimeters. Keep warm and stay indoors where possible. In other news as well, we've been following America's Mars venture of late with great interest. And here's the latest news. The drone Ingenuity has been airborne for less than a minute, but NASA is celebrating what represents the first powered controlled flight by an aircraft or on another world. Indeed, a matter of one small flight for mankind. Ingenuity will be commanded to fly higher and further as engineers seek to test the limits of technology. Mimi Awung, project manager for Ingenuity at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, said they can now say that human beings have flown a rotorcraft on another planet. Getting airborne on the red planet is not easy. The atmosphere is very thin, just 1% of the density here on Earth. And this, of course, gives the blades on a rotorcraft very little to bite in to gain lift. Ingenuity was therefore made extremely light and given the power to turn its blades extremely fast at over 2,500 revolutions per minute. Well, right now it's time to have a final look at the temperatures for today. We kick it off with Polokwane. Your low is 10, peaking at 23 today. If you do find yourself in Umbombela, do expect a low of 15, peaking at 24 today. Pretoria, for you, it is a minimum of 12 and a maximum of 24. Johannesburg ranges from 10 to 22 today. Mahikeng, 10.26. Klerksdorp, for you, it is 11.27. And then Kimberley following shortly with 12.27 as well. Bloemfontein, 11 8.25 rather. Richards Bay ranging from 16 to 23 with 80% chance of rain. Pietermaritzburg 12.20. South Africa's playground Durban ranges from 18 to 23 and a 55% chance of rain today. Mthatha for you is 11.17. East London 16.20. Cradock coming through with a low of 11 and a maximum of 24. Gqeberha 15.22. George 14.21. And the mother city Cape Town ranges from 13 to 24 today. Worcester for you is 12.30. Sutherland 10.24. And then last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 16 to 32. That was a final recap of your weather here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
I'd like to continue the weather report to tell you that there is a forecast of some lekkerness on Expresso with two fantastic musical entities, Twin Spin and Zoe Zana, teaming up for another song for you. Do remember the melodic experience in Cape Town, Granddaddy Hotel, 38 eatery, $70 at the door. Go support them, please, as we get onto something. And I want to say a T-shirt that I'm going to make soon is Dance If You Wanna with Zoe Zana. This is Preach.
Let's go. Can the people of the Lord hear me? Even the ones in the back. We're about to take you to church with this one. Mr. DJ, can you please give me some more volume in my monitors? I need more. I need more. Give me more. I think it's time to speak to them. So you know when Satan steps his foot in your camp, swear to God I don't know where he's coming from, but there's one place I know he needs to go. And I need you to tell them with me. Are you ready? Say, now go back. Now go back. Say, go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Now go back. One more time. One more time. Satan, now go back. Now go back. Say, go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Say, go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Satan, go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Let's go. Satan is a liar. Go back to the fire. Satan is a liar. Exedaki fire. One more time. Satan is a liar. Go back to the. Satan is a liar. Exedaki fire. Oh, la, 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 la. Say, oh, la, 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 la. Say, oh, la, 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 la. Oh, la, 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 la. Y'all say it with me, oh, la, 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 la. 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 Come join me, come join me, come join me, buddy. Now go back. Now go back. Say, now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Say, now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Say, now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Now go back. Say, now go back. I know you might be going through something right now, but what the song speaks about is stand firm in your belief and fight whatever that Satan is trying to fight you with. Tell him to go back. Tell him to go back. Satan, go back. Satan, now go back. I said, now go back. so much. Donkey.
Then go back. You go back. You go back. Well, that is Zoe Zana and Twin Spin. They'll be performing at the Melodic Experience on Sunday, 25 April. Get tickets at the door. Granddaddy Hotel, 38 Eatery. And stick with us as we go back. Go back. Go back. Go back.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in as we continue our health chats, being a Tuesday. Now, every year on this day, the 17th of April, or a few days past, World Hemophilia Day is recognized, not only about raising awareness, but it also brings the hemophilia community together and provides a platform to discuss other inherited bleeding disorders, something that we're going to do this morning. And this morning, medical doctor and clinical hematologist Dr. Shahroch Nahrwar joins us in studio to tell us more about this condition. And if you have any questions for the good doctor, please give us a call, 021 110 5552. We'd love to hear from you and get your perspective this morning. Doctor, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
And the public?
I suppose a good place to start would be with a description of what hemophilia actually is. Can you describe what the disorder actually is?
So hemophilia comes from the Greek word hemo means blood and philia means to love. So these people love blood. So where does it come from? It's a bit of a morbid connotation, but it means basically that back in the time where we didn't have treatment for these conditions, which are bleeding disorders, which are genetic bleeding disorders, so in other words, you're born with it and you inherit it from your mother. So it's an X-linked chromosome recessive gene. So in other words, the healthy gene in the mother will overwhelm or will dominate the unhealthy gene, and the mother won't have the disease. But now if the mother has got a boy, he gets the Y chromosome from the father. If she has got the disease on her X chromosome, then this boy will inherit this disease. So that is what we call recessive. Now, unfortunately, back in a time where there was no clotting factors available, with other words, treatment for these conditions, then these children would die early. These boys would die early, and they would exsanguinate, they would bleed to death. So that was usually their lifespan from young teens to early 20s and not beyond that. While now, with the treatment that we've got, at least when we have diagnosed the boy with the condition and we intervene early, then the boys have a reasonable, normal lifespan.
Wow.
So that has changed quite a bit in modern times.
Are there different forms of hemophilia? Does it come in different guises?
Yeah, so the hemophilia A, which is the most common one, look, we are talking about rare diseases in general, so the frequency is about 1 in 5,000 new boys that are born that get hemophilia A, where they lack factor VIII, which is an extremely important and central clotting factor. Then we have got hemophilia B, which is much rarer, say 1 in 30,000 newborns, boys, also X-linked, so also passed on by the mother lineage. Interestingly, Queen Victoria, she was a carrier of the hemophilia B gene. And so she got quite a bit of offspring and lots of grandchildren that got the disease and died early in their lives.
Obviously being that time, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously there was that time no treatment available for these children.
I suppose a lot of parents out there will be thinking, what are the signs to look out for? How do we know? You mentioned early detection being vital for increasing lifespan. What do we need to know?
Yeah, so unfortunately in South Africa, we probably miss about half of all boys that have got this condition. The reason for that is probably partially awareness, but also economic constraints. I mean, we can't diagnose. The mothers often are not aware of their family tree, which I think is an important part of your history, family history. And so that would be one way to kind of acknowledge that there might be a problem, and you probably have to test for it. But a third will not have a family history of the boys that are born with hemophilia, where it's like what we call a spontaneous mutation at birth. But in 2/3, we do have a family history. So we are still missing quite a bit of boys that have got the gene for hemophilia A mostly, and get, for example, bleeding problems at early stage. And they usually present, say, about 4 years old. Usually already when they start crawling. They get bruises, they get bleedings in their muscles and their joints. We don't actually know why they preferentially bleed into their joints, into their muscles, which makes actually a very disabilitating disease. So these children, if they don't get properly treated, end up with deformed joints, especially the knees, the ankles, and so on. So it's extremely important to be aware of this condition, because if treated early, these children not only have a normal lifespan, but also much better quality of life, and will also be able to work. Because if they can't work, they obviously will not be able to sustain themselves financially. So it becomes a very important social and economic and even political disease, because politics needs to be interested in this condition to actually...
It's rare, but it's there.
Yeah.
We're going to continue our discussion now. The doctor's going to stick around. If you have any questions that you would like to add and pose to the doctor, 021 110 5552. We'd love to hear from you this morning. We're going to continue our discussion in just a moment.
It's Health Tuesdays here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and we're all about talking about endometriosis, which is a common and sometimes very painful condition which can affect up to 1 in 10 women. Now, endometriosis can cause a wide range of debilitating symptoms such as pelvic, abdominal and back pain, heavy and painful periods, as well as infertility, and in some cases, no symptoms at all. Now, here to discuss the topic of endometriosis, we welcome back gynecologist and obstetrician Dr. Jason Bennett. So good to have you with us this morning.
Thanks, Jamie Lee. Good to be here.
What exactly is endometriosis?
So endometriosis is a medical condition where the special cells that are normally located inside the womb or the uterus are actually sitting outside of the uterus, and they can attach to certain organs like the ovaries, the bowel, or the bladder. And during a woman's cycle, this can cause a very painful and destructive reaction.
Is this something that we as women can prevent? And maybe what is the cause when it comes to this?
So, what is the cause of endometriosis is a good question, and not everyone really knows, and we're still trying to work it out. But there are a few theories, and one of the most popular theories is that instead of the menstrual blood or the period flowing out, it flows backwards through the tubes, and it can sit in places where it shouldn't, just like the ovaries or bowel or bladder.
Again, I'm loving that we're opening this conversation because a lot of females go through this and don't actually know that this is what's happening to them because, like I mentioned, we get pelvic pain, back pain, which can sometimes be linked to our menstrual periods. But what are some of the common symptoms when it comes to endometriosis?
So the main symptom is pain, and this pain can happen just before your period, during your period, after your period, or it may continue throughout the entire month. The pain is normally located in the lower part of your tummy or your abdomen, and it can move to your back and even to your inner thighs as well. But some other symptoms that people experience is pain during sex. Some people may have bloating, diarrhea, constipation. There also may be some pain when women pass urine or when women have a bowel movement.
I did mention that sometimes you don't have any symptoms at all. So how do you then figure that out?
A lot of women don't actually know that they have endometriosis, and a lot of women find out that they actually do have endometriosis when they battle to fall pregnant, because endometriosis can cause infertility or inability to get pregnant.
Let's talk about the other complications within the body if you do have endometriosis.
So endometriosis can be quite destructive. So what it can do inside the body, then like you get a scar on your skin, a similar type of thing can happen, but inside a woman's body. And these type of scarring can cause damage to the tubes. It can damage your ovaries, your bladder, and your bowel. And it can cause infertility by damaging the tubes.
That is some hard facts right there, but of course our viewers, there's women watching right now and thinking that they might have this. Is there a treatment? What can we do if you think that you have endometriosis?
So there is a treatment. It's not something that's easy to treat, but there are a few things that we can do. Number one, we must control your pain, okay? So normal analgesia. Number two, the mainstay of treatment is to try and decrease or stop your periods. And we do that by starting the birth control pill. We can use something called progesterones, something like the 3-month injection or the 2-month injection. In quite severe cases, we actually put a woman into early menopause when endometriosis is really bad. Next step is surgery, and we use something called keyhole surgery, and we actually remove the endometriosis that's inside parts of the body where it shouldn't be. Next step, for people who have problems falling pregnant, obviously we have to use surgery, but then at some point we do have to consider in vitro fertilization.
Well, I'm glad that we spoke about this because, again, there is help for those women out there that are suffering. So, Dr. Jason, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, of course, for you at home, as the pain of endometriosis can more than often be quite debilitating, Brufen is there to help aid in pain relief and with inflammation, making the condition more manageable, especially during that time of the month.
Targets pain caused by menstrual cramps. Brufen works where it hurts.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome as we continue with our health discussion on hemophilia. Medical doctor and clinical hematologist Dr. Nahrwar is still with us, and he is going to be explaining who is at risk. Again, we're expanding on what he's already told us, and we're going to look at some of the treatment options available for those who have this condition. Doc, I've got to ask, in light of how we are able to treat it now, how severe can it be?
Well, you can have, unfortunately, very severe disease where you have less than 1% clotting factor 8.
Wow.
So say factor 8 is a protein like this that is pivotal in the clotting cascade, with other words, to form a solid clot. So if you lack this protein completely, you will have a very severe form of hemophilia. If, however, the protein is a bit smaller or like a bit deformed, like this one, for example, then they may not have such severe disease. They may have moderate disease with levels between 1% and 5%. And in mild disease, they might have levels above 5%. So with normal levels are between 50 and 150%. And increased levels may be actually associated with increased clotting. With other words, people that present with thrombosis, which is the opposite side of the spectrum.
The end of the scale, okay.
But the most important is that we acknowledge that severe hemophiliacs, they will bleed constantly. So they need to have basically prophylactic or with preventative clotting factor replacement, which these children or their parents need to infuse in their veins. So it's a clotting factor within a little bottle that is being dripped into their vein. And ideally, they should get it preventative, say 2 or 3 times a week, to prevent that they bleed into their joints, which in the long run will debilitate them.
It's massively damaging.
While the mild forms will only probably bleed when they get surgery or severe trauma, so they can actually go through life quite normally. And what is also quite interesting, they're found in cost-restrained countries like India, where you haven't, for example, enough factor available to treat these children, that other non-pharmacological measures, for example, improving your muscle strength to increase your joint stability, has a huge impact on bleeding events into these joints.
Okay.
So that is extremely important, that hemophiliacs should avoid contact sports like rugby and football, but they should, on the contrast, they should rather focus on muscle strengthening, power training, joint stabilizing stabilizing exercises.
How do you go about diagnosing where someone sits on this scale? Is that a complicated process? How difficult is it to know where a person sits in this kind of risk spectrum?
So 2/3 are inherited. With other words, they come from the mother. So if the mother knows she is a carrier, you can already, prior to birth, select out the eggs that have got the faulty gene.
Wow.
So that is now prenatal diagnosis. So that is possible, but it's perhaps quite expensive. If not, then the mother should rather refrain of having offspring if she knows she carries the gene. So in other words, if she's unable to finance prenatal diagnosis of perhaps a faulty gene, then she should perhaps be encouraged not to have children. But if she has got children, then they know that they are at risk. 50% of the cases will have the disease, if it is a boy. So then immediately bloods need to be taken on the boy and on the mother to find out what type of mutation, perhaps, to see how severe the hemophilia is, but it can usually be found on the factor 8 levels.
Okay.
So less than 1% would be severe hemophilia. The importance of that also is that if you start treating these children, usually from the year of 4 years old, then they can develop inhibitors. They can form antibodies against the factor 8, especially if they've got no factor 8 present. And that, unfortunately, is more prevalent in the black population. So extremely important within the South African context that children of black ancestry are at higher risk of having inhibitors, with other words, antibodies towards their treatment, which will complicate their treatment. So we need to be very cognizant of this fact.
We'd love to get your questions. If you have any, 021 110 5552, give us a call. We're going to continue with one more discussion with the good doctor. Stick around.
Well, it is time to get our blood sugar levels up, and the best way to do that is a mouth-watering a healthy and hearty breakfast, and it starts off the right way, which is important. So to get you going this morning, we've got new-laid free-range sweet corn fritters with cream spinach, and trust us, this is, I'm sorry about the chef alarm, exactly what you need. The thing is, we're working with new-laid eggs, and a fresh egg is new-laid, and there's a temptation for egg puns. Can you please forgive me in advance?
You are forgiven.
Thank you very much. So, Chef Ilam, you may know her from the My Hungry Husband blog. You can follow her on that tag as well. But let's go. So, how do we start this off?
Okay, so we're going to start, we're making sweet corn fritters, but we're going to make it with a creamed spinach. Yes. So I just want to get the spinach into our pot with the butter.
Okay.
So it looks like a lot, but you know it's going to cook all the way down.
Where there's a wilt, there's a way, as they say. So that's going to be
So we're going to end up with like one spinach leaf at the end.
It happens all the time, doesn't it? Yep.
So we've got our spinach. And we're going to add some seasoning to this. So we've got some freshly grated nutmeg.
I love nutmeg. There's something, the background flavor adds so much fullness to any dish.
Yeah, it goes really well with cream, I find. So we've got some pepper and some salt that are going to go in. And we're just going to wilt this before we add our cream. So we're going to leave that to wilt, and then we're going to get started on our sweet corn fritter. So,
the exciting part, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my
so we've
goodness.
got some kernel corn, and then we've got some sweet corn.
All right.
Okay, which we're going to add into our bowl.
I'm excited to do something, but I'm going to let you do it because the temptation is there. Because I like getting my hands dirty, but I won't.
No, don't worry. I will give you.
You got this for me.
I will give you something to do.
For now, I'll tell you about that amazing egg. You know that those are incredible eggs. They are, they're fresh. So every single day, a new-laid egg is they get these fresh. They go through stringent protocols and checks to ensure that they are safe for consumption and delicious. Because the thing is, you must have maximum freshness. Don't do an egg that is,
Oh, yes.
No,
do you know how to check if an egg is fresh or not?
Can you tell me, please? Because this is the moment that I actually built you up to. So this is your time.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you have like a bowl of water.
All right.
And you put your egg into the bowl, if the egg floats, then it is bad. And if it sinks, then it's fresh.
Well, don't worry. Then I'm going to say this, that
it's
new-laid
as easy
eggs,
as that.
They will, this is a good thing. That's the sinking feeling. It's not there. It's just the sinking egg because it's fresh all the time. Maximum freshness, of course. And this is something that you can pop into the refrigerator. And there's a myriad of different dishes you can make. So a fresh egg is new-laid, and a fresh, amazing recipe is always available to you on expressoshow.com if you miss out on any of the steps. Now we're making our batter.
Yeah. And can you actually do me a favor?
I'm here for you. Yes. I want to do something for you. Okay, what do I do?
Can you add the cream to our spinach?
I'm ready. How much of this cream would you like in there?
You can add all of it in.
All of the cream is in. I'm going to just make sure that the drizzle is here for shizzle, my nizzle. It's important that we do that. Okay. All the cream in, we're good to go.
And then you can see that our batter is quite thick.
All right.
So it's almost like if you think of a pancake batter.
Yes.
So it's as thick as that. And then we're going to fry our sweet corn fritters, just like a tablespoon at a time.
Okay.
In our frying pan with some oil. So we're just going to go in
And
with the
what
oil.
type of heat you going with there, chef?
I would say medium heat.
Great stuff.
Yeah, because we want it to get all nice and golden brown. And then using this little measuring cup, so we get nice, even sweet corn fritters.
And what is the size of that little cup of yours there?
It's a third of a cup.
A third of a cup? Yes,
but
you have to know your measurements.
You can use a tablespoon as well, so it doesn't really... you don't have to use a third of a cup specifically.
But, I mean, that's just a nice way of doing it. Also, can I add chili? That's the big question.
Yes. So
yes,
I added in some... cayenne pepper and some smoked paprika. So that's a little bit different from your normal paprika.
Okay.
Because it's just got like some extra smokiness.
So just a quick recap. So because obviously this recipe will be available to you on expressoshow.com. Wilt the spinach nicely, right? Add the cream, get yourself the batter, go in the beautiful pan, ensure that it's medium heat, stack it up nicely and serve. And those are your new-laid sweet corn fritters along with cream spinach. Simple, incredible, just like our chef today, Chef Ilam, facebook.com, and you can follow her on My Hungry Husband. Doesn't matter what hungry husband, hungry wife, hungry friend, hungry anything, she's got your back. So go and grab that recipe and make these for brunch, breakfast, or even dinner. Why not? And make sure you make it with a beautiful new laid egg, because a fresh egg is new laid.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, thank you for sticking with us as we continue, in fact, wrap up our conversation with medical doctor and clinical hematologist, Dr. Shahroch Nahrwar. And I just want to kind of round off with maybe looking to the future. Maybe if a mother out there, now that we know that this is recessive and that the mother is where the diagnosis needs to start, how can women get tested? What is that process like and where do they go?
So interestingly, some women also have mild hemophilic picture, but not all of them. Most of them actually don't bleed at all. But if a mother knows she might be a carrier, she can have mutation studies done on her to see if she has the diagnosis confirmed. In the boys, it's a bit easier. If you have severe hemophilia, you do a simple clotting test and you can see it's prolonged.
Okay.
And then with specific factor 8 or factor 9 in the hemophilia B testing, you will have confirmed the diagnosis. The most important, I think, by far, is to diagnose early as possible, before the child becomes 4 years old and starts to get events into the joints. With other words, prophylactic, with other words, preventative factor 8 infusions by the caregiver or the child himself would be probably the best way. But as you can imagine, that might be costly in the short term, but actually it's cost effective for the future because that child remains healthy. And that is unfortunately not available everywhere in the world. I mean, as I mentioned, only half of all the people that have got hemophilia are diagnosed, which is much worse than, for example, Europe, where more than 80 or 90% is diagnosed, but still better than, for example, India or Bangladesh, where less than 10% is aware of this hemophilia. So awareness, again, is the most important, and to preventative give factor VIII infusions if the socio-economic environment allows.
If a family needs more information, if a family have identified and have a child that is, has the condition, where do they go to for support? Where does the community exist?
Yeah, so there are several support centers within South Africa. I mean, you've got the Center of Hemophilia at Tygerberg Hospital, at Groote Hospital, with very good sisters that are extremely experienced in this condition. So almost every province has got a hemophilia center. And so with other words, if you have a child that you suspect a bleeding problem, go to the center, have the test, have the diagnosis confirmed, and get the treatment initiated.
We've got details of a website that will give you a host of other really vital information that you do need to know. I think all of this has really reinforced the importance of having World Hemophilia Day and spreading awareness. Clearly, you were the right man to bring in for the job, so thank you so much for giving us a wealth of information. It really has been wonderful connecting with you today, and hopefully you at home have picked up a few gems along the way, but do keep those details on hand. We will CapetownHematology.com and hemophilia.org.za. We'll keep them up on our social media platforms so you can go and connect. But thanking the doctor once again, this has been a great chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to the doctor and, of course, Graham, to give us that vital information. And let me just tell you, not all heroes wear capes, which is why we applaud and acknowledge the incredible work our frontline pharmacies do for their communities through Pharmacy of the Week.
Really, it is to say thank you to the brave healthcare workers. And this is proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave. Now, this week's Pharmacy of the Week is Secunda Pharmacy. Let's take a look.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
I started this pharmacy in 1979. It's now 42 years that I'm standing behind this counter, serving the community and the community serving me.
For me, it's such an honor to serve this community here in Trichard because the people are very friendly here. I love them.
I always wanted to serve people, helping people. I don't like blood and all those stuff, but I'd like to help people, and that's why I started pharmacy as a pharmacist.
To work with people every day, yeah, that's my passion.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much to that pharmacy and all the great pharmacists out there and pharmacies. We appreciate you and we applaud you. Thank you so much.
Here's to you, Mzansi. Get 50% off the attorney bond registration fee plus 5,000 Rand cashback on your approved home loan. Dial *120 *001 *123# to find out how much you qualify for.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's that time.
It's that time. Deep breath.
It is that time. It's a Tuesday here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. And we're ready to get our Feel Good.
We wanted to do a duet for you today, okay?
Absolutely, why not?
Because we've emerged as the best singers on the show.
I mean,
That's
it's a known fact by everyone, every week. The comments never lie.
Isn't it amazing? So thank you to all of you who have laughed along with us over our recent week's performances and for the multitude of suggestions of songs.
Need that mic.
No, I'm just practicing. It's my mic off. So we had a ton of really cool suggestions, and we have chosen one. It came from Roxy Mays, and we love you because this was a cool song, and I think we can do it justice. Eh?
No, and I think that this one is an easy one for us to take on without completely having the artist's legal team getting in touch with the show.
And please, we're going to bring the words up so you guys can feel free to sing along because this is rousing. It is Buffalo Soldier. I'm looking forward now. I really am looking forward to this. So without any rehearsal, without knowing what we're doing, we're going to throw ourselves in head over heels. You guys, please sing along at home and let's have a little bit of fun. Mr. DJ, are you ready?
You need to tell them we don't rehearse anyway.
Okay, no, because they might look at it and go, wow, you know. But I promise you, we haven't rehearsed. Okay, let's do this thing, man. Let's have a little bit of fun.
Said he was a Buffalo Soldier. Yeah, man. Dreadlock Rasta. Oh, yeah. Buffalo Soldier. Come on. In the heart of America. If you know your history, then you would know where you're coming from. Then you would have to ask me who the heck I think I am. I'm just a Buffalo Soldier in the heart of America. Stolen from Africa, brought to America.
Morris never gonna come, man.
Said he was a fighting and a rival, fighting for survival. Said he was a Buffalo Soldier in the war for America.
Come on.
Said he, why-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo, did-it-it, why-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo, why-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo. Hey, Buffalo Soldier, trading through the land, whoa. Hey, yeah, man. Taking him on the ranch and making him want a hand. Trading through the land, yeah. So he was Buffalo Soldier in the war for America. Hey, Buffalo Soldier, dreadlock Rasta, fighting on a rival, hey, fighting for survival. Come on. Driven from the mainland Africa, to the heart of the Caribbean, singing why-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo, did-it-it, why-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo, say why-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo, why-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo. Hey, trading to the someone in the arms of America. Shot into Jamaica, the Buffalo Soldier, fighting on a rival, fighting for survival. He was a Buffalo Soldier. Oh, man.
Sure.
The story of fighting an arrival.
I fought those lyrics fought with me. They were there. They were on us.
What I really wanted was the warrior.
Oh, no, man. I didn't realize it came in so late. I think we added an extra 10 yours.
You're back, all right.
Sure. But no, I put my back into that one. That was good.
You did.
Well done, man.
I think...
Keep them coming. Let us know on our social media pages what you thought of that brilliance, that performance. And please suggest us something that we can sing next week, something that is equally as rousing.
You know what? I have to say this. I'm overwhelmed by our talent.
It is a little overwhelming.
And we can't even contain it.
Breathtaking.
Very clearly. Literally, too.
Remember Winston? He landed the job of his dreams.
Smooth. Late for his second day, he parked in the boss's spot. Not smooth.
Luckily, the boss liked his style so much, he's up for promotion.
Nothing smoother.
Made with love by Clover.
It's the confidence for me, though, boys. You guys are amazing.
I feel like they should give you a song like Darude Sandstorms, no lyrics, next time.
No, really, they are giving me...
Oh, here he comes.
Yes, coming in still hot. Oh, yeah.
Fighting all the lyrics.
And those lyrics did fight me, eh? They come in here so quickly, man. Hey, and it's always the songs that you think are going to be the easy ones.
Listen, you boys give me
That was
life,
fun,
but
thank you.
really life is a juggling act, and though there are many of us with not so smooth skills like the boys, we recently learned how to juggle from the pros at Zip Zap Circus. We all know there is nothing smoother than a Tropica, and with a lot of practice comes smooth juggling. Our first attempt was not smooth. Take a look at this.
So this is what it looks like. If you check. So throw, catch, catch.
Okay.
Throw, catch, catch. Yes.
Did you do it? Oh, my word.
Oh, juggler. Yeah, you're a juggler.
Catch.
Catch.
Oh,
I'm putting
okay.
this in my... Yeah.
I remember it looking much cooler when we were doing
really,
it. I somehow thought, I don't know, it doesn't match my head. I don't
I had
know.
heels on, so that's...
You were fine, yeah.
Listen, after some smooth schooling from the pros, our juggling skills got a little bit smoother, okay?
Gonna give her balls. We're gonna try.
Yeah. Wait, I want to do 4.
You want to do 4?
No, actually, let me not show.
The first ball.
So, throw, catch, catch. Yes.
Catch. Nice.
That's
throw,
it.
throw, catch.
Adding heels, see?
Do it.
Ooh. We redeemed ourselves.
Yep.
What you missed it, because
I think, yeah, it's great. I feel like that was a good indication. I mean, the way you took on the Buffalo Soldier song with the lyrics coming all over.
Yeah, I juggled those lyrics,
that's
man.
great. Well done.
Randomly.
I think because we did our juggling already, maybe Carl, you can juggle the tropical one.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can juggle this sort of. I just do.
One.
There we go. There we go. There we go. And can you do 3?
And then just that's how I go. You want to throw in a third?
On your head. Land it on your head.
Yeah, you want to throw in a third? That's it. There we go. Just push there. Perfect.
Yeah. Throw
There
that
we
down
go.
the
Okay, you're going to be
way.
third.
Come on.
Right, this is
You can do
going to
it.
be perfect. So it's going to go.
It's going to be perfect.
Up like this.
That's brilliant.
Don't hurt.
Absolutely brilliant.
Boom.
Nice.
Boom.
Cheers.
Boom.
Oh, but which one was mine?
You don't know. It rolled out of the couch.
I was drinking that,
yes,
man.
That's it. I think that could be yours. But well done. I mean, look here, we learnt a lot of stuff here today, and to smooth juggling, and it's quite simple. And we have tried to keep our eye on the ball. We failed, we've tried, but we do this for you, though. But when it comes to juggling, actually, if your juggling is still not smooth, then just have a smooth Tropica. It's the best thing to do. Dust yourself off and try again. That is the key for you. And here's your juice, by the way. That's got your
Are you
Tropica.
Aaliyah now?
Yes.
I
am.
Trust yourself and try.
Winston? He landed the job of his dreams.
Smooth. Late for his second day, he parked in the boss's spot. Not smooth.
Luckily, the boss liked his style so much, he's up for promotion.
Nothing smoother.
Made with love by Clover.
Wow, you just missed it. He did it, eh? He was amazing.
Yes,
All
I just
three.
did it.
was brilliant.
Correctly, I just did it perfectly. You should have seen me. I was as good as Twin Spin and Zoe Zana earlier.
And how amazing is that young lady?
Wow.
Wow. And I love the fact that we got treated to 3 completely different tracks this morning, taken into a completely... But that is it, Show Me To My Love. Oh, my word.
You were feeling it.
You were feeling the singing.
He was just
Yeah, in the
today.
feels. Yeah, no, it was a wonderful show. Thank you so much to everyone who contributed. Thank you to the good doctor as well. And remember, tomorrow, being a Wednesday, it is time for the culinary hotline bling.
Sing, sing, sing.
Yes.
Please hit us up on the Expresso Morning Show Facebook page if you've got any conundrums. Make them tough, make them difficult, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
More performers as well, so make sure you tune in and make a date with us as well. We're going to juggle the entertainment for you. Yeah?
Is it a date?
It is a date.
Really?
I love dates with you in the morning and with Graham and with Jamie Lee. But of course, just stick with us on S3 Expresso tomorrow. It's going to be great. You can catch that.
Yay!
We love you.
Yes!
Here's to one last slice of summer and our first taste of autumn. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.